Oh, hello everybody. Welcome to Worcester Council Theater 3000 for another week. What's the date today? Who cares? June 20th. Wow. Can you believe it, Brendan? I got
a mouthful of peanuts. I can't believe anything.
Wow, this guy. The Peanut Man. The Planters Peanut Man. Yeah, it's June 20th. There's an agenda. It's
Not much on it.
Anything jump out to you?
Just how light it is. Yeah, no, there's really nothing there at all. It's everything's fine.
Everything's totally fine. There's what's the city manager thing tonight? There's a review. Is that tonight? The city manager review.
I think tonight is when they start. Are they actually going to do anything with it? But yeah,
I don't think so. I think they're just like approving the approval to approve of the city manager. Who knows? Who cares? Won't do anything. Two had a questionnaire in their Instagram story, I believe.
Yeah. Trying to like crowdsource their portion of the review.
You know, it's like when you review a teacher at the end of a class. I think a professor. It's so I'll try and find a link to that. We'll post that. We'll get everybody to put zeros for Eric. I think that would be funny.
And Yeti, yes, you're correct. It's going to go on all night, and it'll be just going around the horn talking about how wonderful Eric is. Worcester is the greatest city on earth, and it's all because of his eternal glory.
Yeah, no problems whatsoever. But we desperately need to fix everything so that developers will come here. So really cool needle to thread. So yeah, I don't. It's gonna be an interesting one tonight. We have another guest who should be coming up soon, and Bill can't be here tonight. Bill's not going to be here tonight, so we'll be holding down the fort. So think of crazy things to pretend that happened that everyone can tell Bill, and just everybody like DM Bill like tomorrow. Just be like, I can't believe that happened at the meeting last night. I can't believe they, discovered a dragon egg, or I can't believe George Russell spoke in a complete sentence. Stuff like that.
That Eric Batista was responsible for the sub going missing.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that a lot tonight, I think. The missing sub.
They still haven't found it, huh? Still missing?
Yeah. Still down there. Just go up. That's what I say. Just go up.
Yeah, but even if they get to the surface, they're still screwed because they're bolted in. They have no way of getting out. This whole thing fascinates me.
Yeah, there's a billionaire on there, and his stepson went to the Blink-182 concert instead of going to the search and rescue.
Incredible.
Man, what a stupid world we live in.
That's what trusts get you.
Turns out money can't save you from the ocean.
Yeah, that's you know what? You'd think they would have learned that based on what they were going to look at, but what are you gonna do? So I'll be sharing insights that I gleaned from my time at the Titanic Museum in Belfast throughout the night. I'll sprinkle those throughout the night. So please do check that out. Oh, here we go. Let's bring him in. Our special guest for the evening.
What up?
For everybody. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sort of.
Sort of. God damn it.
It's not a little tinny, but we'll survive if we have to. We're just talking about the missing sub.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We didn't find it.
No.
Did what was the deal with echo cancellation, on or off?
You got headphones on?
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Okay. It's off.
You sound good. You sound good. We're good.
You look great.
Yeah,
thank you.
Phenomenal.
Oh my gosh, I was just thinking this is the most handsome little video chat I've ever been a part of.
The lighting is just incredible in that room.
Oh, thanks. I got a dog too.
Hey, there he is, Briscoe. That's Briscoe County Jr.'s his full name, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Huge mid-90s comedy Western fan, Josh Lyford.
I love that show so much.
Great
I used to have all the DVDs, but they burnt out from watching them too much.
Oh, yeah, you wore them down.
No.
You're supposed to hit
Please
stop
don't.
before you rewind. That saves a
You
lot.
save DVDs.
Speaking of
I can't believe I
rewind,
did
did you guys hear the breaking news today? Kara Berg Powers is opening a video store in Tatnick.
I did hear.
What?
Yeah, isn't that cool? That's so cool.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I'm very excited as somebody that stubbornly held on to a VCR for many, many years. I'm hoping that the selection of tapes. Yeah.
They're hard to find now. I've been looking for a VCR DVD player combo for a while. They're wicked expensive.
I'll sell you one for $6,000.
Damn, it's my exact budget actually.
All right, there we go. All right, I'll be over later.
You can usually find them over at Goodwill. There's usually a couple kicking around in the back corner over there.
Yeah,
I had to go there for something else as well. It's a good
There you
idea.
go.
Putting it on my notepad.
actually, you know what, Josh? Why don't you put back on that echo cancellation?
All right. I wonder if it's also grabbing my hello?
It's not. That's it. Yeah, you were clipping before. Now you're not clipping.
All right, I guess that's better.
Yeah, this is good. This is gonna work. This is gonna work just fine.
Great.
Josh is wearing his PlayStation 2 SOCOM headset earpiece.
Is that a jawbone?
First generation Bluetooth.
Seriously.
Good.
I'll bust out my Xbox One headset in a second.
That's my big question about is what is dumb enough for them to spend the entire meeting on this week, and I can't really tell. What I'm thinking is probably 10F, which is Petty put it in order, requesting an update on cooling centers, and I think that they'll spend hours talking about it just as a fuck you to Two, who has been harping on this for 2 years, trying to get something done, and now they're all going to pretend that they're like all for it and like desperate to know why it hasn't happened yet. So I think that's my bet for waste of time tonight. Attell's orders are too like smart and useful that for them to just talk over and over about. So I think it's
I could see them spending an hour or so talking about submarine safety in Worcester.
Oh yeah.
I hope so. I hope we get submerged in it.
Yeah. This is the worst missing sub since somebody stole my lunch out of the work fridge. Huh? Am I right, guys? Here, let's see what we got here. Wow.
Oh,
that's
nice.
amazing, Feeney TX. That's really exciting. That's good to know.
I support dogs voting.
Yeah, we did. We got our dog from Texas. He's been learning a lot. He's been taking some time to listen, and he's been really learning a fair amount. So I'm really excited. Really excited.
Wow, Briscoe, do you hear that? Oh, he left. He abandoned me.
He doesn't care.
Enough of this.
Oh, interesting, Yinny. That's great to know.
Dog's favorite crime.
My dog's favorite crime is definitely food theft, which honestly I feel like isn't a big deal. So steal away, Briscoe.
Yeah.
Maybe he's responsible for the missing sub. Am I right, everybody? My dog's favorite crime is probably libel.
Interesting.
It's very hard to prove.
Smart dog.
My dog died of cancer.
Oh, cool.
I don't think that's against the law.
No, life of crime's over, though. That's it.
Arson. Anybody was curious.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know that about your dogs. That's I absolutely think that they are going to ignore that, Yenny. It's bad. We've gotten to the point on this show that we know, like even like tonight, we're just like, oh, this is like a light night, and there are like useful things as orders on this agenda, but they're all ones that we all have recognized by now are going to be essentially ignored. So, yes.
The rental registry is one that I've been thinking about a lot, that I'm curious how it ends up. I can foresee it backfiring in the sense that we do have a not insignificant number of illegal or unlicensed apartments in Worcester.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's just going to give cause for inspectional services to start shutting those down without a plan to rehouse people.
Right. That is a very good point. So
here we go. Here we go.
Let's fucking go.
Oh man, what do you think Petty's entrance music's going to be tonight?
Something by Drake. I'm not sure what, but something by Drake. Yeah.
I was thinking some like real crazy kind of butt rock influenced new metal, but I'm in.
Dig by Mudvayne.
Turns out it's Foxfires.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was gonna surprise you guys. It's gonna bum everybody out.
You and Joyner Lucas are officially the music of Joe Petty.
I'm in great company. Who would have guessed? No Grammys yet.
Not yet. That's that's the important part. Yet.
40 is when I'm gonna hit my stride, my songwriting stride.
Yeah. That's when the Grammys come calling. When artists are 40.
Bryan, have you ever thought about doing a show? This is a departure. I've been watching a lot of Worcester Senior Center videos on YouTube lately.
Okay.
They put them up every day, and they just come up in my feed, so I watch. Have you ever thought about doing a show there? I'd love to watch you doing a show at the Worcester Senior Center.
Yeah,
but I want to watch it on YouTube. I don't want to be there for it live. I just want to be there for a completely silent audience. And
I love that. Yeah. I think we could. Yeah, I think we could do great. My material always kills with elderly people. all my jokes about how I hate my dad so much. Really, they
resonate.
They identify with that. Like, my dad died of smallpox. So it's we should. I'm gonna make that happen. I know a lot of people over there at the Senior Center.
Sure.
Gary Rosen will get me in.
Yep, they do good work.
I'll bribe him with a pickleball. It'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
What is this pickleball? I keep hearing about it.
It's like stupid tennis, I think is the best way to put it.
You know, that paddleball game that you used to get like every summer at the beach and then like play for 5 seconds and then get really bored of? It was like the wooden paddles with a rubber ball that didn't actually bounce at all.
I don't think I recall this. We were always getting, my dad would get us lawn darts and then he'd just tell us to run.
So you had fun. Everybody else had this paddleball game, and it was terrible. It's like that. Yeah, it's
it's like playing paddleball on a tennis court with a wiffle ball. And it's really easy. It's so easy. As to make it accessible but not fun. At least that's the way it seems to me when I watch it on ESPN3. So
and like upper middle class white people love it. They're like going crazy over it.
You know what it is? Because you can drink a hard seltzer while you're playing it. That's why. That's how sports catch on these days.
It's starting to be the thing that's like for bigger box stores attached to shopping malls when they go to business, like pickleball courts going in.
Right. Yeah, it used to be like shared workspaces, and now it's pickleball.
It's the modern shuffleboard. I like that.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. It's whatever. Great, good for them.
Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, great.
Is there a pickleball like lifestyle clothing brand yet? There has to be, right?
Nike is starting to make pickleball attire.
Of course, there you go.
Oh, I was gonna say we got to enter that field, but I guess we missed.
I think if we make branded WCT 3K pickleball shirts and shorts.
On it.
That's the move. All right, perfect.
What are these people looking at?
There's a big bird up in the corner.
Somebody get that damn bird.
Trainers, he got scared and he like ran up into the ceiling. Yes, the salt life of pickleball, like pickle life or like court life. This is the longest national anthem of all time. I think. They did an extra verse.
I've been finding Fred Nathan every morning.
Do a roll call.
I figured out his bus schedule.
You're hunting him. The most dangerous game.
Here.
8:45. He's down in front of the CVS in Technic Square, waiting for the bus every morning.
Here.
Nice. Now we know.
Where do you watch him from?
A safe distance. No, usually in traffic, just driving by. Usually, yell at him, just yell hi, going by, yell his name out, gets confused.
We're holding items.
Which is a National Grid issue for hearings and orders. 7B will be held by Councilor Haji. 10E, that's my order on Community Health Link. That will be held by me under privilege. 10J and 10K, which is on the constables, are going to be held by Council Corio. Then we're going to need to do a table and item, which is another National Grid issue on 14A, which needs 6 votes. Okay. What's that? Which one's that? That is.
That's the one from last week.
Apricot Street. Okay. That's still being worked on. Okay. And so people know that. Okay. Now comes the fun part of the night, anyways, and we have some presentations. And since we'll start with Evis Turpolari, and Evis's mother made us food, so that's why he's going first. And
wow.
But
openly bragging.
Evis just got married. Congratulations. His wife is with him on newlyweds. And
the hell is happening here?
This fucking small town ass shit.
Why don't you come down here, Evis, and you can bring your wife or your parents if you're more than welcome. And you come right through the gate right here. Yeah, right through here. And just give a little background. These are the Thomas S. Green Awards winners, and Paul Matthews, who runs the research bureau here in the city, and these are really decided on people's who gives recommendations. And
let's not assume.
And Evis is. I've known Evis for a number of years.
They got married. That's all we can say so far.
Matt, you can come on town too if you want. You're pretty proud. I know that. And but Dr. Castillo, and I just want to say Evis is the homeless project manager for the Worcester Department of Health and Human Services. I think he does God's work out there in the community on a regular basis every single day, trying to build up relationship, provide service to our homeless population, which is unfortunately not shrinking but growing. So the demands are great. And so I think on behalf of the city of Worcester, on behalf of the city council, I'd like to present you and your family the key of the city of Worcester. And I'll come down. If the council wants to come around, you're more than welcome. I know if you all can fit, but we'll figure that one out.
Yeah, let's all get in on this.
Spectrum just butchered my internet for like 30 seconds. What is going on here?
We're delivering the key to the city the first key to the city to be delivered to an Amish family in Worcester.
Yeah.
Beauty.
Yeah. And now he's saying the Pledge of Allegiance to the key. And they're all going to do like a Rockettes like kick line.
Yes.
See? Da, 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 da. Come on, everybody. A 1 and a 2 and a... Oh, all right. Yeah.
That is Evis, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You may want to say why they're getting the award.
Why did I explain it?
Oh, we did it right now?
Before. Okay. Again, ever since Mother said there's Albanian pie out there on the table, people are more than welcome to enjoy themselves during or after this program.
Albanian pie. That is pizza, to be clear.
Thank you.
That is
Thank you for the food. It was
Greek style
excellent.
pizza.
The next one up, Brenda Cologne. Now, again, this is the Thomas S. Green Awards because they were nominated by people
Somewhere out in the hallway
in the community who recognize the great work they do. Brenda Cologne is next because her mother said I have great looking eyes, so I put her here next. And
Petty's doing bits tonight.
So you can come on up. Bring your family too if you like. Anybody, your stepfather if he wants to come, more than welcome. Ms. Cologne is instructional assistant, a paraeducator for the 5th grade at Quinsimmon Elementary School in Worcester. Has made a tremendous mark on the faculty and students. As a bilingual educator, she's a wonderful advocate for her students, always willing to help her students make the difficult transition who come from other countries, and does a wonderful job. And I just want to congratulate Brenda. I know we were here at the Mechanics Hall, but thank you for all the hard work. You make a difference in the community in Worcester Public Schools, and Worcester Public Schools are proud of you too. So,
Sounds like you said gray-looking eyes. I think that's more like gray-looking eyes.
You look like the undead.
Thank you. I'll come down.
Get on down there. Yeah, everybody come around again. Everybody stand up, take pictures. Why is it different for them? I love when the city councilors all line up because no camera can take a picture that wide without being completely far back. I don't trust anybody to be able to use pano mode on the iPhone enough. Nope, their phones are all turned sideways. So that is a bad picture that everyone's getting. Everyone's getting a bad picture. When am I going to get my key to the city?
I'll sell you mine.
Like I haven't been offered.
Is yours plastic or the real deal?
Mine's one of the real metal ones, but it's an antique. I bought it on eBay.
Hell yeah!
One time, remember when they had a Savers down? Oh wow!
I keep it handy.
In Webster Square, there used to be a Savers there, and they had a key to the city of Worcester for sale for a while. And I thought about buying it, but they wanted like $50 for it.
I think I paid $5 for mine, and it's made of brass. Like I keep it handy. I could definitely thunk somebody with this.
Jacqueline, I think a lot.
Yeah, it's absolute horseshit that we haven't gotten anything for the hot dog safari.
We had the overflow at Lake Quinsimmon.
You should.
Great job when her and a team on taking care of Blue Space. Jacqueline's a senior environmental analyst for the city coordinator.
Blue Space, that's when that's a room where you can go cry in when you're not feeling good.
That is not what Fred Nathan was wearing when I saw him at the bus stop this morning. So he actually gets dressed up for these events, which is nice. I
appreciate a costume change.
Yeah. Oh, great. Shorts. Nice. Thanks a lot, pal. Thanks for respecting our damn city in your cargo shorts, showing off your Boston Red Sox leg tattoo.
He keeps his other keys to the city in those pockets.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, I love that.
They're just fucking handing them out like candy and just denying me every year.
I was temporarily a part of an organization where everybody got keys to the city, but I didn't. But I did get to take the photo.
Oh,
Cut
that's
deep.
Nice. That's nice.
Cut real deep. Yeah. I don't hold grudges, so it's not a big deal.
No. Yeah.
Is that a similar organization that I belong to?
It could have been, perhaps.
That's two people on this stream that particular organization burned.
After starting the city in 2013, his role, he managed the city's development, rehabilitation of the housing stock and staff.
Yeah, I know you guys have made a lot of
and
progress
government
since then, but I
development for
don't
over
think it was
3,000
cool that you were
units
in the Proud
in
Boys so that
development.
the city gave them keys.
Does great work. The
I just
housing
like black and
is
yellow
one of the
colors.
most- one of the most
Those were
affordable
proud
housing
times, Brown. Don't you
we
take
have
that
here in the
away.
city. And for a small staff, Jeremy do wonderful work.
Candy's making the hard to
Board
push
of
right now,
Commissioners
guys.
and
She is
community.
running
And
scared.
can present you the key to the city from Worcester Executive Office of Economic Development.
She
on the
putting out
occasion of seeing the
commercials.
Thomas
Have you
F.
guys seen
Green
this?
Public
Oh, really?
Service.
At Pedoni doing commercials for her. Everybody donate to Rob Bellata right now.
I may or may not be helping Rob paint the sign so his dad can drive it up and down the Taste of Shrewsbury Street.
Yeah, hell yeah.
What does Shrewsbury Street taste like?
Street lobster.
Regret.
God, street lobster.
Yeah, let's pull that up. Hey, Matt. How are you? Oh. Guess the thing that they're going to spend too much time on tonight is celebrating Worcester's
Just to
residents.
recognize somebody who's not here, Scott Stock. And
Oh, I
Scott's
thought it
from
was
the
gonna
town
be
of
me.
Shrewsbury, works as the Shrewsbury Electric and Cable Operations. And he pretty much does what we want to do here in the city of Worcester. And I know Tallahassee, I would love to probably have him on one of his committees, but he's retiring. And so he does a lot with the with cable and internet and things and stuff that we want to do.
Did you
here in
say
the city.
what
So
we want to
Scott,
do
you're
here
not
in
here,
Worcester,
but
like municipal internet?
congratulations
Did
on your
the
service.
We're giving him an award because he
Thank you,
does
everyone.
for
Paul, thank you for
Shrewsbury.
your
What
service.
Yeah.
what we
What
do here,
we
want to do.
what we have said is not possible and have no
Yeah.
plans to do here.
Don't
Wow,
forget this food
Joe.
out there in the
I
hallways.
guess
People
it is
hungry.
a campaign.
Thank you.
It is an election year.
Okay.
We
So I
just stare at
just
him
write my
longingly.
fake tweet for
Participation.
me.
Shouldn't you be breaking this
And
news
person may
on
speak for no more than 2
Talk
minutes
of the
on any
Commonwealth?
item appearing on the agenda. So if you want to come up here, just your name, so your residence, and the item number you want to speak on.
Oh, thank you, Matt, for
And,
doing
or
that.
if you don't have the
I
item
was
number, what you're gonna
desperately
speak on,
trying to
that's on
find the
agenda.
link.
Okay. And sir, your name, city of residence, and item
Yes,
number.
thank you. Fred Nathan, Worcester. Number 8. Oh, Michael Grandone's item about the some sort
Fred
of
Nathan?
a,
Worcester? There's a guy who follows me around from Tatnick every day,
obviously
and he's got
landlords would be against it.
covered in tattoos. He's
but
wearing
on
a
the other
gi.
hand, we
He's
have
trying to do jujitsu
really
on me.
bad housing prices. It's really everywhere. It's not just in Worcester. So, as I said to you before, Mr. Mayor, I brought this up a few months ago under the inclusion in the housing. So let's say you owned a 3-decker, been in your family for 50 years. You haven't wanted to sell it because you were raised there, enjoyed all the fruits of being there. But now you're getting older.
Yeah, he closes his eyes and he goes
Now that
like this, and then he
he's
points at an
really
item,
close
and
enough,
then he starts
I
snapping
don't
his
know,
finger and trying to
400,000.
come up with something.
That really didn't quite entice you.
Like ripping
How much
butts.
do you now? The offer is
Yeah, here we go.
700,000. Mr. Mayor, there is no one in this room. There is no one out there in TV land.
Experienced. That's
So
what
if they had a
that
chance
shows to me.
make that kind of money, they're gonna sell it. I don't care what their feelings are. They
Tender
are
but
going to
firm
take the
grasp
money
right
and they're
there.
gonna retire and they're gonna go to Florida or Arizona.
I feel like Fred Nathan
or
just gave us a
Hawaii
shout
or
out by
Puerto
calling us
Rico or
TV land.
wherever it's warm. Now, if someone's been living there for years on the 3rd floor,
Feel
sorry,
bad.
but your rent is going to go up because whoever bought that for 700,000 is
They have a
not
stand-up
going to
bass.
50 years to make their money back. Imagine what the
The way he's rubbing that acorn thing is really creeping me out.
Oh yeah.
Vulgar.
Making me very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
back unless they had $700,000 laying around. it's not going to be. It's not
Wow,
gonna be easy. So,
the very rare typed vocal impression,
I think
and
there does have to
fucking
be
nailed
some
it.
kind of rent control.
Knocked it out of the
Stop
park.
people from coming in buying stuff and literally doubling
Oh,
and
hell yeah.
tripling the rent. At some point, there has to be common sense and some kind of courtesy around here. Oh, sure, you should be allowed to make the money, but you should not be allowed to make the money at the risk of putting people out on the streets.
Thank you.
There, I will have to say.
Okay, thank you.
So also,
Yeah, a few more seconds.
all right,
More.
10I.
Freeform, baby.
10I on the people parking illegally on the sidewalks. I think that has to end. I mean, it does intrude on
Hot
people
take
trying
alert.
to walk. If they have to literally walk on someone's lawn to get around a car versus walk in the middle of the street.
This is
at
this
some
item
point,
is another one
common
of
sense has to apply here.
Candy's
So,
trying to
talking about
hedge
these
against
illegally
Rob
parked cars on the
things.
sidewalk.
Adding accessibility measures to her platform, talking about accessibility.
Chris?
I'm surprised she's that calculated, to be honest with you.
Chris Horton from
Well, she's got the might of the AFL-CIO behind her, you know.
Even though
Great
they're
point.
being tabled, I
She's
would
got-
like to say something.
She's got Worcester's Jimmy
about,
Hoffa at her back.
10J and 10K, the items about sending the issue of constables to committee. Almost weekly, we get new examples of constable, what I would call constable misconduct now. And it is something, this is a discussion that really needs to happen. And it is, we've already been lining people up to come and testify on Thursday. We were told that this was going to happen. And I hope it doesn't get delayed too long.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh, that is a great point and a very cynical thing that has happened that feels like it was for that express purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Idella Hazard, City of Worcester. I'd like to speak on
Antifa.
10E. I don't even know why the community health link closed in the first place. There's not enough places for people to go. They're overcrowded. And if people are asking for help and they're told to wait for a bed, they're not capable of waiting.
Anyone know if Idella takes the bus?
Putting these people at risk when they're
I mean, you're following Fred, he's following her, so I think you just need to jump ahead. You need to do a front tail, I think.
We might as well push them because that's what we're doing. So I'm all for 10E. That's a no-brainer. And as for rent control, I have a 3-family and I live in it. And that's what helps support me. And when the cost of living goes up, when my water bill goes up, and when my taxes go up, and when my tenants don't pay rent,
This is the downside of
I have to recover
Idella.
that someplace. 2 years ago,
Just because I want to take a 4-hour shower does not mean anything.
$1,000.
I'm crying in there, all right?
$15,000 in rent. I had a tenant that
She's
went
your landlord,
a
right?
year and a half without rent, and I was not able to recoup.
He's been in there for 3 days.
This year, I lost $10,000 in rent, and I was not gonna. I was not able to recoup that. That is the other side of the coin.
I want to see her rub the
And
acorn
we
down.
have to consider that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's making the argument that a lot of people make, but
occupied.
why is that
So
your next
sounds
tenant's
good.
like fault?
Do
Right.
You
not
know,
raise the rent.
Totally. That's the
But
That's
a
the
landlord
cost
I'm not
right
saying
there.
there should be
That's the risk.
no, you know, I mean, listen,
because tenants
partially I'm
paying
saying
rent
that
in the first place.
landlords
And we
shouldn't
had to
exist, I
wait
guess. I don't know
almost
when
2
you get down to
years
it, but
before we could
the-
evict people for not paying
in the reality
rent.
that they do,
And
I guess there should be some mechanism for them to not never get paid, but shouldn't be the next person's responsibility.
Right?
No.
Yeah, or we might be having to pull down some t-shirts. Or make some edits.
The landlords
Okay, can you wrap?
deserve, deserve some respect here. And we
That's really the problem. These poor landlords are not getting the respect they deserve.
Yeah, that's what I'm always saying. That's why we do this show.
Your residence and
Good
item number.
evening, Charles.
I gotta
Lipino,
tip my
60
landlord.
Houghton Street,
Start
Worcester,
tipping
Mass.
him.
It was a question about National Grid, but I think we got it resolved as long as the short end of it is they agreed to fully pay 58A, the driveway at Houghton Street. And I think we're under agreement, and that's good. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming down.
Thanks, man. See ya.
Your name, say your residence and item number.
Hi, Timothy Corbett. I live at 360 Salisbury Street. I'm here on the matter of 13J.
Sure.
So currently I'm in court with the owners of lots 364 Salisbury Street. Issues of buried impedance. I purchased 360 Salisbury 2 years ago, and unbeknownst to us, our utility line through one of the subdivided lots.
Incredible.
Funny story. I actually almost got into an accident with this guy on Salisbury Street. And we got into like the most polite screaming match, probably in the history of road rage. Like I was flying. I was definitely speeding, and he was pulling out of his driveway, which like comes onto Salisbury Street. And like I almost broadsided him, and I would have destroyed. He was in an SUV. I would have tore right through it. And he was rightfully very, very upset. But I slammed the brakes, stopped, whatever.
I didn't understand.
But the point wasn't that like I was speeding, which was the point that he was trying to get across. And he wasn't wrong. I was speeding. It was that he pulled out onto Salisbury Street without looking left and just rolled through. And like shit he was saying, like he was screaming at me, so angry. Like, dude, like you're not wrong. I was in fact speeding, but you got to look where you're fucking going, man. Like it was. It came to an amicable resolution. That was we agreed that we both violated the law, and that's how people died.
There we go.
Yeah. I drive slower on that corner now.
Really mature.
Yeah, it was nice.
I'm a big fan of scream first, ask questions later.
Exactly. Go straight to irrational behavior.
Okay. Thank you. Council Russell.
Mr. Chairman, this was before Public Works, and my understanding from the notes that we have here is that this is an item where we're going to leave to withdraw, which means the petitioner is asked just to kill the petition. So it's not approving anything or doing anything. If the law department or anyone else wants to correct me, I'll be happy to hear that. But my interpretation of a leave to withdraw is just that they're just pulling that application. They're not going any further with it.
What was the petition for? Was it to create a new line or take over a line?
I don't have the maps and stuff in front of me. You could contact the Public Works Department, and they would have, through you, Mr. Chairman, the Public Works Department would be happy to provide the plans and the whole application to the petitioner, but to the gentleman at the microphone.
Okay.
But this is just to withdraw.
If you want to give your name and number to the clerk, we'll have the city manager, someone from his team, to call you tomorrow.
Would I give it to?
Yeah.
Mo's just stealing the guy's homework.
Who do I give it to? Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else like to speak tonight? What's your name, say your residence and item number?
I'd love to speak after someone I know is going to speak on the phone. Is it possible to insert after?
I don't.
I'll know when it is, if that's okay with the mayor. I believe Sherry Stanley is waiting to speak, and my remarks will make more sense after her remarks.
I'm sold. I'm in. I'm so in.
No, and I don't have the. Mr. Cork, going to go up to anybody online you have here?
Mr. Mayor, I think I only have one person that has raised their hand. It's Paul Popenchuk at 350 Central Mass.
Paul, this your name, say your residence and item number?
He just said his name and his residence.
Good evening. My name is Paul Popenchuk. I'm a resident of 34 Midland Street in Worcester, and I'm calling tonight to testify in support of item 10F, the request to the city manager regarding an update on cooling center developments as a solution to heat-related deaths for the city, and item 16M submitted by Councilor King regarding the inclusion of construction laborers in conversations related to specialized stretch code. Both of these items have a connection to the climate crisis we find ourselves in. Today, the National Hurricane Center named Tropical Storm Brett, which is coming off the Atlantic and headed to the Caribbean. The center expressed surprise that
typical
this
Brett.
storm would appear so early in the hurricane season when formation is more ordinarily occurring in middle to late July. This comes at the same time as we learn that over 100 people died in India last week due to extreme heat. We have recently experienced
You know, I said it as a joke, but after hearing this, I think there's a strong chance we get submarine talk.
who are poor people who
I can't
are
believe
least
this is the direction we're headed
responsible for
in.
climate change
Full
are
submarine takeover.
experiencing disproportionate impacts. Initial warnings about climate change and the existential risk it represents were issued decades ago. The urgency of addressing this cannot be understated. It is most appropriate to consider the issue of cooling centers because of the number of potential 90-degree days in Massachusetts. A report issued by the Greater Boston Research Advisory Group predicted that Boston would experience 3 months of 90-degree weather by the end of the century. Worcester has qualified as a green community, and as such, they must adopt the new stretch code promulgated by the Department of Environmental Resources. We have the opportunity to adopt a specialized stretch code which provides for even higher levels of efficiency in new construction. It is critical for Worcester's labor force that we endorse this specialized stretch code so that gives the labor force experience
No, Matt, he's totally right. The problem is that nobody on the council has any idea what he's talking about.
Of highly efficient net zero buildings and homes. Also,
There's 3 people in that room that could find India on a map, and it's a pretty big one.
Fund our Department of Sustainability and Resilience so they may implement the important goals of the Worcester Green Plan.
He actually is really smart. When we were doing stuff for the Doherty construction project, he would come to every meeting to talk about the need to invest in heating and cooling systems that were more energy efficient and whatnot. Was really trying to push the city on heat pumps at the time that the city wasn't really comfortable going that direction for heating and cooling. But he would, yeah, he does know what he's talking about in that universe.
Mr. Mayor, we also have Sherry Stanley. Is that the resident that we were looking for?
Sherry, if you can raise your hand. Or,
I do. Yep.
Hi.
There you are. You're on. Just your name, city, residence, and item number.
Hi, I'm Sherry Stanley. I'm a WAF staff member, and I'm speaking on behalf of the items 10J and 10K. One of my members received a 48-hour notice from an unlicensed constable. We brought him to your attention several times. He served her on Friday, knowing her eviction was Tuesday morning, June 20th, 10 a.m. today, in which 48 hours would be Sunday. Monday was a federal holiday, Juneteenth, which he did not acknowledge. Including that holiday really makes it clear it isn't a full 48-hour notice. My member filed a motion to stop the eviction due to her not having her legal 48-hour notice. She called the housing court this morning at 8:30 to check on the status of her motion that she had filed. The clerk told her he gave the motion to the judge, and the judge denied the motion without a hearing. It clearly says that it was a legal 48-hour notice, which he didn't even take it under consideration. He denied it without a hearing. So I took it upon myself for her to call the appeals court to get help immediately. The clerk at the appeals court agreed with her and told her that the judge should have made the right decision, which he didn't. After the phone call, the clerk that talked to her from the housing court had called my other staff member's cell phone and said the judge reversed the order that they were going to take the eviction off. This shows you cannot rely on the housing court's information. I'm also a person going through an illegal foreclosure, and I have been going through it. I never get justice when I don't feel protected when I go to the housing court, and I know several people that haven't that I work with. And it just shows that you cannot get protection when you go to the housing court. And I see that the city cares about homelessness and housing. The housing court should be a safe place for us to go.
Thank you. What's your name?
Thank you for letting me do that. Grace Ross, 10 Oxford Street, Worcester. We've tried once again to file our citizens petition, and once again, the city solicitor disagrees with us, which seems fine to me. But what's not clear to me is how our right to petition our government for redress, which is you guys, under the First Amendment can be blocked over a disagreement about an interpretation of a law, when obviously you guys need to hear us and you guys get to look at the same evidence and decide what you think, and we're just not even being allowed to put it in front of you. On the other hand, I want to say, and he's not in the room, so maybe this is cleaner, but the city manager did bring me together with the city solicitor, and you guys have a phenomenal city manager. He was able to get us to stay in the room talking to each other even when the conversation had started. And I acknowledge that we got to a better place, but had started with the city solicitor saying to me that I wasn't a lawyer, so he wasn't going to listen to me. And you guys have a brilliant facilitator in your city manager, because he got us past all of that, got us talking for almost an hour. So appreciate him. That's a unique set of skills. Anyway, I just want to say that there's some very serious differences of opinion, and I've worked with tenants for 35 years, and I have spent time learning the laws, whether I'm a lawyer or not. I live in a constitutional democracy, and I'm supposed to know the laws I live under. And if I have questions, I'm supposed to look them up and get the answer. So I have bothered to do my research. And one of the big disagreements, which may be part of why we're coming into this from different places, is that Massachusetts only recognizes that you've been evicted from the house when you have in fact been physically evicted from the house. And this has been Massachusetts law since 1938, and I have it from an attorney general's brief that was affirmed by our top court, the Supreme Judicial Court. So the city solicitor, without being able to provide that kind of background, and I'm sure he's done his own research since, so he may be in a different place, but had assumed that once there was an order for an eviction that you were essentially out of the house, even though you're not out of the house. But that changes all the rules, because if I'm in the home and I have the right to be in the home, then I'm the one who decides who's trespassing. I'm the one who gets to decide whether my friends can come have a barbecue or have a protest at my property. And that changes then the perception of what is the role of a constable or a sheriff who's coming to evict. Do they have a right to tell you who's on the property before they evict or not? Well, no, not if I'm still in possession. So there's a lot more talk to have, and I'm sorry to drag you guys into this, but as I said, evictions are spiking, and it's really important that we're all on the same page. And I'm happy to explain stuff, and I want to apologize to Councilor Russell. I haven't managed to do this side by side because I couldn't find the city solicitor's opinion, but I will get it to you. Thank you so much.
Toast all their asses.
So that's our last speaker.
Damn.
Mr. Chairman, did you say that those things were held?
Yeah.
I came in a little late.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go back in a second. This your name, city of residence, and item number?
I'm not sure what my city of residence is. No, it's Keith Scott from the city of Worcester. I have
It's your boy, Brendan.
Love Mr. Scott.
Mr. Scott loves Brendan too.
What's going on with it? Community Health Link, the detox, the president and executive director resigning, and it just seems like everything is uphill, and I'm still concerned because I'm still part of Community Health Link, the family health care, and I'm not going on the sidewalk, because if I go on the sidewalk, I'm going to take everything with me. But that's a threat that I received. But I'm really concerned because all these detox and all this stuff that's going on here in the city of Worcester. I know you got Polar Park really up in the air, but I'm really concerned about, the opposite end over at on Chandler Street. With all the hospital things coming in and all the extra money coming in and all this new pandemic money and everything. But it seems like all the old places are all being torn. Well, not all the old places, but all the active places that have held us together before the pandemic, are now being part of closing down, And, I used to live in the hospital zone, but now I live in the Galaxy. I've been staying up in the Galaxy zone since they're building the new Galaxy place up that way. But we used to have the 6 hospital zone up that way, and each hospital was accountable along with all the medical centers. That's all I got to say. I'm out of here, but if I find a decent house for like 7 or 8 people that wanted to move, we'll probably.
Thank you, Keith. Okay. Okay, we'll go back to the agenda. Motion is to open the hearing for 7A through 7C. 7B is going to be held. Motion to open the hearing. Roll call.
Joe looks small tonight.
Tiny.
Yes.
Does.
Council
Yes.
G.A.
Yes.
Council King.
Yes.
Maybe he
Carlson?
got
Yes.
a thinner curse put on him.
Council Rose.
Yes.
Council Russell.
Yes.
Council Toomey.
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. Okay, with anybody opposed to any of these items? We have condo location on Houghton Street and Seymour Street. Seeing nobody is opposed, the motion is going to be close the hearing and to adopt. Roll call.
Council Bergman.
Yes.
Council Calorio.
Yes.
Council G.A.
Yes.
Council King.
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson.
I do love
Council
that
Rivera.
neither Fred,
Council
Nathan, or Idella stay
Council
for the
Russell?
meeting
Yes.
ever.
Council Toomey.
Ever. They have no idea what happens
Council Toomey.
after they speak.
They just have their own little main character thing going on, and they love it.
Yeah.
We also have a National Grid pole.
And so do I.
And I love to watch them.
It's bothering me an inordinate amount that he's sitting in a different chair that's not the big chair. I know that's not unusual, but I've never really noticed it before, and it's driving me nuts.
We've all gone through it, man. Trust me.
I'm not going to sleep tonight.
You might never sleep again.
Imagine having access to a throne and not using it.
Yes.
What an asshole has a throne. It says, no, it's not for me.
Yep.
What's the point?
Petition may not speak for 3 minutes. First time on the agenda. First one is 8A. You can take some of these collectively unless anybody has any opposition. 8A, refer to the planning board. 8B to 8C, refer to public works. 8D.
That was maybe my favorite part of the roast of Worcester was Petty having to relive that moment through many, many, many jokes. Every single person, I think, made a joke about that.
Did he survive till the end?
No, he left right before Bill went up.
Yes.
Or during Bill. He left during Bill's set, right before I went up.
Aha.
So he gets it. He knows.
Manager consider creating a rent control program through the real estate cap tax for owners of rental properties be established for the request City Council. Request the manager, request the associate.
He gives us like kind of a lot of money though. So yeah, I actually do think that I was slightly kinder to him than most of the people.
Council Bergman.
Yes.
We can all be bought, Brian.
Council G.A.
I wasn't trying to be. I was trying to be mean. Just everyone else was way meaner.
Council Meehan. Council Rivera.
Yes.
Council Rose.
Yes.
Council Russell.
Yes.
Council Toomey.
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. 9A to 9B.
Is that a spare key to the city he has in front of him?
Roll call.
Fuckers.
Council Bergman.
Yes.
Council
Been
Calorio.
mine.
Yes.
Council G.A.
Toomey got the worst
King.
at the roast.
Yes. Councilmember Carlson.
Yes.
Council Rivera. Yes. Council Rose.
Oh, they're gonna be done in like 10 minutes.
Yes. Council Toomey.
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. 10A, request the manager requests the Commissioner of Transportation and Mobility provide council suggestions for traffic containing measures on 4th Street to increase safety and minimize speeding. Council Hydra.
Oh, do you guys see that on 4th Street?
Sure.
Fucking
Manager,
car
like
flipped in the air.
No,
it's like 1st Street through 4th Street are all like downhill coming off Airport Hill. And I just saw a picture the other day of a car just completely flipped over on its top, perfectly on its top, coming down 4th Street.
Explored.
Dude,
Commissioner of Public Works and Parks consider making.
I've taken every vehicle you could possibly take down 1st Street at an inordinate amount of speed.
All three items really stem from a lot of resident requests. The first two are really the ones that reflect a lot of requests that have come through my inbox and calls. It seems like traffic is getting more aggressive. A lot of folks are having a lot of issues with cut-through traffic. So the first two reflect.
I own that dress in shirt form.
It sounds as though the Newton Square tennis courts.
You guys should coordinate sometime for an event.
For residents in that area, so really love to see us do a bit of TLC. Thanks.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, you want to sign on, Council Kings? Council, you want to speak, Council?
No, just very briefly, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to sign on to B and C. I've had some iterations of these orders over the years as well. I do believe that we got the tennis court repaired a few years back, but I think it's probably due to be redone again at some point. So I just wanted to offer that to sign on to both of these, given my past experiences with putting these comparable orders up, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Council King. So sign on. Okay. People want to sign on? Okay. I'll sign on. Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Mayor, 10A, B, and C. Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Haji?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson?
Yes.
Council Rivera?
Yes.
Council Rose?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. 5A, we still have 5A approval of the minutes. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Haji?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson?
Yes.
Council Nguyen? Council Rivera?
Yes.
Council Rose?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
He didn't vote. He's too busy getting ready to say his
Number
dumb bullshit.
10D. Request the city manager, request Commissioner of Transportation and Mobility review the light sequencing at the intersection of Main and Highland Street in Grove to ensure adequate time for cars to exit Main Street onto Grove and from Grove Street onto Main. Mayor Petty.
I'll be quick. Thank you, Madam Chair. This is coming over both ways from Main Street.
Please go back to that shot. Please go back to the shot.
With the Johnson Tunnel being closed, going through the red lights and people can't.
So another stupid driving story. I got stuck because the traffic that's backing up there now. Like I had green light, but then I got stuck blocking off traffic coming off of Main Street onto Highland. And but I saw it coming, so I stopped. Left a little bit of room, and Joe and his stupid SUV was the one car that was able to. So we waved at each other on the way by.
And he's like, "I'm going to make an order.
I'm going to make an order about this." That's literally last week.
An update concerning the implementation of cooling centers during the summer months and in effect to ensure the city finds an immediate solution to heat-related deaths. Further requests said update include information pertaining to how the city plans to address any future increases in
Donna broke the internet again.
including but not limited to.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with the stream.
It's the Shrewsbury guy's fault.
Yeah.
I know this has been discussed by Council Nguyen, Council Haji, and Council Russell on the cooling centers. And I was reading the article last week in last week's paper, which caused concern. Not knowing.
Can someone try and grab a clip of when Joe says Attell's name, because he's calling her Council of Hydra, and I kind of love that.
Hail Hydra.
Make sure people have a place to cool off, even if it's in their own home. I know Reverend Talley was quoted in the article talking about air conditioners. Dr. Castillo was talking about maybe getting some community groups together understand the neighborhood issue, whether it be Maine South CDC, bring our neighborhood association. I don't think we're equipped to hand out air conditioners, but something we should talk about as a community, especially if the cooling centers aren't going to be available.
I don't think 2 is there tonight.
Now, we've had some pretty good.
I wish we
weather.
could see 2's reaction.
But come July, we should have some plans in place, even if it's beyond the cooling center themselves.
Yeah, because there's an article about it now. He cares.
The neighborhood groups together, and just to get a funding source to talk about, because neighborhood groups are going to know who lives in their neighborhood, and who, especially in these hot areas where there's no tree lining, there's no places to cool off. That we should be looking at this from a neighborhood perspective, and maybe we can coordinate some the city manager's team and our team to make sure people are taken care of. And I know that the council's been pushing, councilors over here have been pushing this issue for a few months now, but I think we just need.
But now I care.
Centers, and what we're similar to, we're going to have transportation. If not, with some alternatives to these cooling centers themselves. Thank you.
Councilor Rivera, followed by Councilor King.
Yes, I just wanted to thank you, Madam Chair. This is an issue that I think several of us have brought to council, I think, for a while. And I think what I'd like to see is not just kind of seasonal. We need to have, and this is something that I brought forward not too long ago, that we need to kind of have a set plan in general. We know
just when you thought we were going to end in 10 minutes.
I said this was going to be the one.
We've had like unbearable, crazy heat. There's all this kind of like heat wave going around in different areas. Climate change is real. So I think
missing submarines
is kind of one of the things that I brought up several items ago is to look at how do we really look at kind of a set plan and moving forward, that we have areas that are completely designated. So we're not kind of searching when, oh, we're going to have a heat wave. Oh, it's going to be a cold front, and really looking at different levels, because there's like the low freeze that we've had, which is one thing. There's just regular cold weather, which no one should be out in elements. There are just, and then definitely, heat. The heat is a real issue, even if people have are housed. We don't know.
Crazy to think that the heat is an issue.
If they can afford, the right air conditioning, if they can afford the electricity bill, if they can do that. So really looking at that opportunity for them. But we as a city need to come up with a set plan. So it just seems like we've been recycling this over and over again, and many of us have kind of brought this over, but this is something that I think for a long time we've been talking about, and we tend to do it, but reactive and seasonal. And I think we need to just have a set plan, which is one of my last orders that I brought, that we can have something set. And so when we know, we can actually be reporting and saying, hey, for this season, we are again going to have X, Y, and Z. When we have cold, it's one thing. When we have freezing weather, dangerously freezing weather, it's another. So I think we need to come up with a consistent plan, so we're not kind of trying to scramble. And I think it would be beneficial to think about the different.
Travis, can we like Photoshop
obviously accessibility,
like the mayor's head in front of, instead of that, like
this
that bag?
About people who are unhoused. This is also about people that may not be able to afford. Like we saw with the freeze, it wasn't just.
I'm sorry, Briscoe's a lunatic.
First,
He's fine.
In hot weather, excessive hot weather, it could be
in front of what bag? I missed something.
The one that 2 is kicking in that photo.
Oh yeah.
Can we just create maybe even a template to create like George Russell's body over the whole thing, or Mo, or
and so that would be kind of a friendly amendment. What this would do is that would also
we should definitely have a doggy meetup.
Community impact, because instead of having one
Yeti, I think Briscoe probably misses you.
And then 50 people leaving at once, you have a location that probably has 10, 15, right? There might be someone, there might be an area way up on Grafton Street. And so that might be an area we could access. It could be like for 10 people, someone, that's way down like Webster Square in Maine, and Park Ave could be another. So really looking at how do we look at spaces that could be provided for that. And that way it would also minimize community impact as well. But I think what we would like to do is kind of have an ongoing set plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Council King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to sign on to this. I know that some of my
there he is
board for a few years. So I'm glad to see this coming once again. In some aspects, in other aspects, I wish we had resolved this by now, or at least taken additional steps. I just had a question to the chair, to the administration.
Listen, anytime anybody wants to hang out at the Beaverbrook Dog Park, I'm down to.
Heating centers, given the fact that this has come before this body many times over the past number of years.
Nobody'd have some commentary. More trash.
To the chair, to the councilor, I know that our Commissioner of Emergency Management is on top of this, but we can definitely do a report on that.
Thank you. And I think what we were looking for here as a body is some really, I think the mayor is asking for, and we're supporting some clear guidelines and timelines.
Chill out, Mo. Too horny.
Consideration is how impactful and effective
It's the assistant city manager, correct? Whose name escapes me right now.
When you think
Or
about
deputy city, what are they? Assistant, yeah.
What's the accessibility look like? We have to also consider folks that can't get there. Folks that
Also,
can't get
yes.
there due to,
Both
a
you,
lack of
chill out.
transportation. We have individuals that are homebound, and we know that
It's only like
as
$2,000
our
in Turkey to get a whole new face.
continues to grow,
It's really
that
affordable.
social connectedness
Finally, live my dreams.
That's fair.
lends to a more favorable outcome.
Everybody can do whatever they want. I don't. That's not me. I'm not trying to hold anybody
And the
back.
other piece, Mr. Chairman, I would make as a friendly amendment is I think we need to gather additional data outside of simply how many folks are accessing the cooling centers. Mr. Chairman, I also would like to see whether or not we're offering additional resources. Are we offering food? What else are we offering? Because that this is a challenged population, mostly, not all, but a good contingent of it will be folks from challenged populations. And that data is essential. The other thing that I'd like to determine is whether or not pets are accessible or allowed access to these cooling centers.
Christian gets it.
Pros and cons.
This
to it.
is
Some folks
essentially
are
a
very,
pet
very
stream
much
now.
opposed to that. There's some folks that are very, very much in favor of taking care of our animals and our pets alongside, individuals and families. So,
Shit, if my dog got any cooler, it could be dangerous. Am I right?
some sort of, feedback that's gathered relative to that. If we're going to do this right. And I think that's what we want to do. We want to do it right and consider all the variables, Mr. Chairman.
That's tough. Everybody sound off.
Appreciate the leadership on this. Thank you.
F, Mary, kill. The city council.
I'm hoping to continue living in this city. I'm going to be quiet for a bit.
To throw out there that as I listen to this discussion, and I've certainly, along with many, not all my colleagues,
There it is.
scheduling speed humps, put them in the spring and take them out in the fall. Why did I bring that up? It seems to me we should need to have this discussion. We know what seasons exist in this community. And said by, I think, Councilor
right in the back, kicking him right the shoulder blades.
Summer and summer is going to lead to heat. Heat's going to lead to the need for cooling stations. So I would say July and August for cooling stations, and January, February at the very least are times that we know we should be planning for these things as opposed to operating off the cuff. But
We'll make sure 2 gets it.
Just to add that I think, given that having heating cooling stations in different districts makes sense, that we consider using the availability of our high schools, at least for cooling.
What about in the fall? Should we build a cuffing center? Am I right, everybody?
So the gymnasiums and the various high schools that are spread out.
Briscoe, you want a new mommy?
I say that myself up. An amendment or just a thought, hopefully could be looked at for cooling stations. Heating stations probably would be a little bit more challenging, but nevertheless, I'm sure we have public buildings that could accommodate that as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So we'll take 10, Councilmember Carlson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I rise to sign on, but I too do want to support Councilor Rivera's idea, and if it was in a form of a motion with the A, having a plan, and B, that they really should be in all 5 of the districts. And a lot of that absolutely has to do with the availability for people for transportation. I know for one, for my district, there's a lot of people who would not be able to get across this city without having transportation. Just want to say thank you for your leadership on this, Mr. Chairman. Happy to sign on.
Thank you, Councilor Toomey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to sign on, perhaps in, either as a friendly amendment or as a separate order. I don't care which. I would request that we take a look at WPI and asking them for some sort of a study or plan to be able to assist those people who, if we were to, especially those who are individuals at homebound, if we were to somehow get them air conditioners, find a way to see if we couldn't power them through solar power, through some sort of trial program.
What would it cost to air condition the whole city, Brian? Napkin math. I don't want anything specific.
Well, let's see.
I can tell you that over the past couple of weeks, I've received a number of phone calls from people.
Like 70, 80 bucks, imagine?
Experiencing some serious
a year,
issues
probably.
with,
Yeah.
increase in their electric bills. And so perhaps WPI students could come up with some solutions to assist us with that. I think.
Yeah, I'm sad that she's sitting in her kitchen, not in her living room with that fucking crazy ass weird painting.
In countries that aren't quite as developed as the United States.
What do you think that blurred out squiggly thing is?
Solar power, and I think that
It's a huge snake.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's one of her Horcruxes.
Thank you. So we will take 10D and 10F as amended.
Yeah, like a snake staff like Jafar.
10F again?
Yes. So last one. Just really quickly, Mr. Chairman. As I was sitting there thinking, I really also like to get, and this would be a separate motion, just a report back on what efforts have been made with respect to applying for grants for these cooling stations. I know that there's a number of grant opportunities out there, and given the fact that
I think it's a live snake.
numerous times,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a serpent.
3 years, I want to know what the administration's been
How many
doing.
years has it been that we've been talking about cooling and heating stations, like during the season, that we should be having them instead of talking about them?
Right.
And what plans
Ahead of time,
are under
yeah.
consideration with respect to this matter, Mr. Chairman, because there's a financial, fiscal aspect of this, and we should really have an idea of what we're looking at, coming from tax levy or wherever versus grants. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Councilor Haji wants to sign on too. I think pretty much everybody's talked positive, so I guess everybody wants to sign on. And we will, the motion is take 10D, 10F as amended, also in the separate orders. With Councilor Toomey and Councilor Kings, taken collectively on a roll call. A roll call.
Councilor Bergman? Yes. Councilor Caloria?
Yes.
Councilor Haji?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson? Yes. Councilor Rivera? Yes. Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes, request the manager.
The bread snake pun I could come up with. Been racking my brain.
Senior work-off program to pay off their taxes. Councilor Carlson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is an item that this council has talked about off and on over the last several years. And again, there's many communities who use this senior work-off program. And I think now more than ever, for a lot of our folks, especially our seniors, I think
We
that
gotta
this is
get
a
the
great
olds back on the
opportunity
chain gang.
for
Seriously.
folks,
Too easy. It's just retirement shit.
and if we get a report back, how
You get some
many
life left in you. Go say hello to people coming in Home Depot.
now we're taking advantage of this senior work-off program. That would be
Senior workout program is so much cooler.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Caloria?
Yes.
Councilor Haji?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. H, request the manager, request city assessor provide city council with a report concerning the income range.
We can have the
associated with
the swole elders just fan the weak ones among them.
That's a good
We
idea.
forget about this whole cooling center thing.
Do that for cuffing season. I think that'd work out pretty well.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Again, this is something that I think we offer to a lot of our residents. But again, if we could get a report back, how many people are actually taking advantage of this? And even for the council, I think it would be great for the council to, for those who don't know, that there's several different clauses in the law that give people the opportunity, whether it's for folks
Those
over
old, the OFO yellow bikes. They'd pull them out of the river.
Or if it's veterans who have a 10% disability, or if it's for our surviving spouses of police officers or firefighters, for folks who are legally blind.
Illegally blind.
Several different opportunities for people to take advantage for the tax exemptions. It would be great if we could get a report back on the 6 different exemptions that we currently have. How many folks in the city of Worcester are taking advantage of these different tax exemptions? And I think a lot of this is really around education and people not having the clarification, knowing
Sorry, Travis
that
just sent us something
would
really
have
funny.
the potential to have a tax exemption.
We should maybe put
whether
that up too,
it
Trav.
goes anywhere from $350 to 100% of a tax
Just wanted you to
exemption.
confirm before I did.
I'd like to see us begin to use some of these different clauses. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
He'd like that shit.
Definitely.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Haji?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson?
Yes.
Council Rivera?
These
Yes.
for folks that like maybe haven't been paying attention year after year, like these
Yes.
meaningless reports are the things that individual councilors will then take when they're out talking to constituents to talk about the things they're doing for the community or whatnot. They're not actually doing anything. They ask for a report, so it makes it
Yes,
sound like
Mr.
they're interested,
Chairman,
and they'll hang their
this
hat on it
council
for the season.
has talked
And
an
that's what
awful lot
Candy
about
does. She
public
just
safety,
keeps her fucking mouth shut for the rest of
about
the
safe streets,
2 years.
talk about a walkable city. Mr. Chairman, there are more cars that are parked on sidewalks in this city, and we continually, I know for me, it's a real issue with folks who are blocking the sidewalks, and whether it's for the kids going to school or people walking, they have to walk in the road because the cars more and more are parking on the sidewalks. I'm not sure what that's all about. And I do think that we need to have an education process here in the city because, again, more and more our streets are becoming unsafe for people to walk on the sidewalks due to the fact that they can't walk on the sidewalks because some of these streets, the entire street is blocked by people parking on the sidewalks. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Council Bergman, followed by Council Haji. What's that? You want to walk off a minute? Okay, so we'll go Council Haji.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Take a
I'd like to
fucking
sign
walk.
on to Councilor Mayor Carson order. I think that our traffic division is obviously stretched very thin, and just recently I had to mediate and facilitate a conversation between 2 homeowners regarding this. But I would ask if the councilor is okay with it to have a specific amendment to this order.
When I lived in Boston and I used to drive a tour bus in the city, I thought I came up with a plan, like a good idea for like how you could ban almost every car from the city of Boston. And I think we could do it in Worcester too. I think we should just like demolish
Just a quick
like
question.
most of Leicester
I don't know if the
and most of, I guess Westboro is
when
better.
it comes to this issue,
And then just make that into parking and then have
parking
high
enforcement
speed
issue
like
is
shuttles
for the
and
parking
light
of
rail going
folks
around
parking
the city, and anytime you need to get into the city, you just park in like one of these major, huge parking like structures, and then you just do your thing in town.
How that's
And you could it just change the whole dynamic, I think, in this whole city, and then we'd also get rid of two problem towns.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Do you think we could incorporate some sort of channel into your
ooh,
plan?
we could do a channel. Yeah, we could channel under Lake Quincy, I think.
Yeah, I've always wanted a channel. So.
A chocolate tunnel, you mean?
Yes, yes.
Kind of parking.
I'm a big fan of toll roads
Ordinance violations.
on the Holden and Paxton side as well.
Yeah,
And
hell
things
yeah.
like that. When it comes to the sidewalk,
I think it's a really good idea.
You know, we can definitely come back.
Nothing that'll accept Easy Pass either. Like you're actually gonna have a dude counting. It only takes change.
I think this
No
is
debit
a
card.
large issue that I've talked about for quite some time, and that's the
Yeah.
lack of parking.
We were watching something and that took place in Amsterdam, and then I was just like, oh, there's just no
Population has increased.
fucking cars there at all.
You know, I'll speak specifically
in
about the project
like
that they're talking about
huge parts of
over
like
at Crompton
that
Park
you
on
just
the
never
walk
encounter a
there.
car.
They're going to eliminate
You just do you spend your whole life living there, either walking or biking around.
horizontal, eliminating
sounds amazing.
hundreds of spaces.
That's amazing.
That's just one example.
And falling into the canal or something.
Move towards
That's the biggest thing. I want to fall into the
having lanes for
the Blackstone
scooters
Canal.
and, you know, the new modes of transportation.
The shitty part, though, Brian, is if you got friends that live in countries like that. Like I've got a really good friend who lives in Denmark. He comes back to visit. Like nobody wants to let him borrow a fucking car because it's just you're not getting it back in one piece. Terrible, terrible driver.
Cannot drive.
This really is a larger issue, and yes, there's safety issues on both sides, but folks have nowhere to park. You know, and I know we have engineers now. I know there was some time where we didn't have them. Really like a thoughtful solution to this. I'll sign on to this, absolutely. But I'm really wondering if we can get to the root cause of it. And the root cause is that we don't have parking for our residents and for the people that come visit the city. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Rivera, followed by Councilor Bergman.
I think it was Councilor Connie Luke said that when you hear enough, you get to see some of these items recycled over and over, and there's something we've talked in. But I'm grateful. Yeah, bringing a blast from the past. But I'm grateful for Councilor Carlson to bring this up because just this past week I had to call it in, and again, like one of the issues that I have, much like the Councilor Merrill Carlson mentioned, is Canterbury. Like, and so we have highly pedestrian areas where people are walking in community schools or where people are taking buses, they're doing strollers, their mobility device. I know, you know, for example, like, just like I have Towers, Porty Belmont, for example, you know, I mean, people that are, you know, just trying to do little carts from shopping, taking the bus. It's really an issue.
They're talking about how there's not enough parking in the city.
An equity issue because people who, you know, do you have someone on
and that's
any
it,
type
really.
of
Unless you
mobility
consider
device,
sidewalks
walker,
parking.
or
Yeah.
scooter or wheelchair is virtually impossible. It becomes, and then it's just taking their life in their hands because they have to go into the street. A young mom or a young dad, or a mom and a dad, young or older, or a grandparent with a stroller,
Or a
issue.
medium-aged.
Continues to be a repetitive issue. The fact that we see this again in council is because we see this consistently still, and it is affecting. It's a major quality of life issue. So I thank the councilor for bringing it up again. Definitely want to sign on because this continues to be an issue. Would love to kind of look at the traffic division. One of the things that we looked at is getting that we have the police expand their traffic division, and maybe this might be one of the things that we really move on for priority. Thank you.
I mean, I've been illegally parking for a long time, and I've only gotten 2 tickets, so I'd actually prefer they didn't do that, but I guess that's kind of selfish.
I will say that we hear, in addition to cars parking on sidewalks, which is
Yeah, if you just illegally park
part of that is also cars
constantly
parking and
over the course of your life, you'll come out so far ahead.
so on and so
Definitely.
forth.
So
Cars parking where they should.
$30 worth of tickets and just free parking for pretty much life. That's okay.
Use a lack of parking as an excuse for that because there are free buses, and people don't want to run into situations where they can't find parking. Our WRTA has been running free for years now, and in the immediate future will continue to do that. I would simply say that I don't know if the police department's doing the ticketing or the the meter folks. But I have heard from constituents and have witnessed myself of late that cars are being ticketed in residential neighborhoods for simply parking in the wrong direction. And since we need all hands on deck to make sure that public safety is paramount and cars aren't illegally parked on sidewalks, which is Council Merrill Carlson's order, I hope resources aren't being diverted to giving tickets to people who are simply parking in the wrong direction. We're warning.
But they just hired 6 new
I've witnessed it myself.
like people to write tickets, and parking the wrong way on the street is dangerous when people fucking pull out. Like,
my last comment on that is,
it's less important, but it is still important.
Pedestrians to navigate around cars, can only imagine how difficult it is for people who are physically challenged to navigate around cars as well. And I think that was Councilor Carlson's intention as well. And I applaud her for that. I think it's an excellent order. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor King.
Yes, I'm not sure if I signed on this, but I'd like to. Just, I think I would also like a report.
I think it'd be cool if you were allowed to, if it was your order, you're allowed to say that somebody can't sign on to it. When everyone's doing the pile on and you're just like, no.
So
you can't.
I've seen it all over the city. Folks,
it's like a sleepover party when somebody's just like, no, my mom says there's too many already.
There's legal parking there. You're allowed to park there. But sometimes folks know that, it's not wide enough or whatever the case might be. So we really need an assessing and an accounting and reporting back of those legal parking spaces. And I'm not looking to eliminate parking, but, we want to know our
it's weird how that started up relatively recently. The disability advocacy. Huh. I wonder what definitely not cynical reason that happened.
Streets in these neighborhoods. Lack of parking isn't an excuse, it's a fact, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, but she forgot to mention it, so Mo had to say it.
A lot of times, same folks that we're talking about, I agree. Folks who have the handicap, folks who are not able-bodied or less able-bodied. Some of those folks are also the folks who are trying to park that way to be more accessible to their homes. So it's really, I think, a matter of the enforcement piece, but getting a report back on what exactly is the challenges of those particular streets. Some are worse than others. And if, in fact, those spaces remain legal and they're off, is that going to obstruct our emergency vehicles? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So we'll send that to the manager as amended. If the second
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Toomey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As we all know,
maybe WPI students can come up with a plan for floating parking garages.
Very hard. As a matter of fact, they're working so hard that
they floated their baseball field over a parking garage. Maybe we can just do that.
That we have in the city, and I think that speaks to manpower. And I certainly would like the administration to also recognize that our traffic division does need to expand.
God's work system, no matter.
In the next budget session, so that we can.
I need to find a purpose.
Accommodate all of these issues and concerns. There are many other divisions of the police department that are also taxed at this point in time.
You've dedicated yourself to watching the council stream every Tuesday.
It does take a full week to recover, so
and we also know that there will be a number of people. We'll have a better idea in August how many people will be leaving. So we need to.
Is her imagination so stunted that she can't even begin to fathom a world where someone other than a police officer could put a ticket on a car for being parked on the fucking sidewalk? The dude's picking up recycling in the morning could handle that for us, but the only thing she can go to is, we need big, strong, heavily armed men. It's the only thing that'll make me happy.
The cops to pick up trash.
Earlier, there was a question for Councilor King on kind of, who has jurisdiction over cars being parked on sidewalks. So it's actually a combination, and it's going to be a team effort. And to Councilor Toomey's point, expanding our team, it's both quality of life, which Dan Cahill and his team with his police officers are going out. Actually, one of the first things that I did when I went out with the quality of life team doing a ride along, one of the first things was to do enforcement.
That's really nice, Mo.
and for whatever reason that left my mind earlier. But
I think it's
that was
Eric's
what we did was actually
nameplate
walk
up there.
around, find out who the owners of the vehicles
It
are.
was earlier. I don't know if they put
speak to
his
the
up
owners
there now.
and give them a chance to move their
Yeah.
vehicle. And
we know his name. I just am
but it's going to
blanking
have
on
to
it
be
right
a
now.
combination.
This is
between
Hung,
our
right?
Quality of life team,
Yes.
and more targeted
Yes.
neighborhood. If there's a specific neighborhood that has this issue, quality of life can go out and enforce. But also our PCOs under transportation and mobility would have to go out there and they could enforce as well.
Okay. Thank you. So send that as amended with the separate orders to the manager. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Gloria?
Yes.
Councilor Haji? Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Merrill Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. City manager recommends City Council's approval of the fiscal year 2023 year-end transfers to make adjustments to city accounts to the balance the fiscal year 2023 budget. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Haji?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Merrill Carlson? Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. 11B is set the first item of business for June 27th, which is the city manager's evaluation. He has provided his report. If we can get the evaluations, I think, in by next week, prior to the meeting, if we can do that. I think council's like the weekend to do it. I think the suggestion was Friday. Was everybody good for Friday? It's pretty quick, I think. So, okay. Council King. Tuesday at 5?
Yeah, we have to submit it by Tuesday.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick question. So I know, and I had this conversation with the clerk, we set this agenda up, I guess, in the beginning of the year. Is there any way to file orders, or we have to wait till July? Like, so if there's a couple of things I'd like to put forward I think are relevant. I don't know if they fit under an emergency, but
if there's an emergency type of thing, we usually allow, if it's an emergency type of thing, you can talk to the clerk. And Mr. Clerk, if we try to get through the evaluation that night.
Oh, no, I understand that. But, again, we meet again. When's the next meeting for the chair?
July 18th.
July 18th. That's almost 4 weeks. I'm just wondering if there's something that we need to get on because of the 4 weeks or whatever it is. Is there a way to do that?
Yeah, as long as we can do it, yeah. Limit to, yeah.
Mr. Mayor, if I can provide some clarification. So historically, the city manager evaluation has been a standalone item for all our June meeting. Has been the last meeting in June and has been dedicated to the city manager.
Here we go. This is the city manager's public evaluation as pulled from Two's campaign Facebook.
That would allow orders to be placed on the calendar.
So everybody should fill that out.
Council tonight to decide that.
So I guess the question to the chair is,
And it seems that unsatisfactory is an option for every question. So not saying how you should answer, but I'm just saying that
we would only submit
how you could answer.
something if we had to go. The option was, I don't remember if that was during.
It's been a few years we've done that, correct?
Right, but I don't know.
We didn't put any parameters. We let people's good judgment and try to keep it limited.
I will make a motion that we be able to do that, Mr. Chairman, if necessary, and try to practice some restraint.
Okay. So we'll do Tuesday at 5. If you get in there earlier, so if the clerk will be happier, then we can do a joint meeting and we'll use people's best judgment to keep the night moving. It is to the city manager's evaluation. Roll call.
Can I ask a question, Mr.
Sure.
Chairman? Does this mean that we're putting orders on the manager's night?
Yes, we've done that in the past. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was just ask people use their best judgment.
Just share my wisdom on that, if you want to call it wisdom.
Yeah.
If you're opening it up, you're opening up.
I know.
Don't expect people to say, I'm not going to put something on, because people are going to put on. So just you're starting it at 5? Is that your plan? Did you say start it earlier?
Oh, no. We have the evaluations in by 5 o'clock on Tuesday to the city clerk's
Well, I'm just going to throw out there, perhaps you'd consider when we take this vote that we start the meeting a little bit earlier if we're going to do both.
Maybe at 6. Is that
I'll leave it up to you, Mr. Chairman. But
is that right? 6?
I think a little bit earlier would be better.
5:30. Oh, what time is that? 5. Okay, we have ED, so we'll stay at 6:30. Okay. Okay, roll call.
Councilor Bergman,
Yes.
Councilor Calorio,
Yes.
Councilor Haji,
Yes.
Have Nico send out a Calendly link.
Councilor Carlson, Councilor Rivera,
Yes.
Councilor Rose,
Yes.
Councilor Russell,
Yes.
Councilor Toomey, and Mayor Petty.
Yes. 11C, motion recommend option salary ordinance amendment to the permit to see the actually established step increment dates. Roll call.
Mr. Chairman, is this the same one from last week?
Yes, this is the, we recommitted it, we provided a report and an update to clarify some of the questions I think that Councilor Carlson was asking for. So.
Okay. I like to hold this one, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, can we, how if we, I'll give you, only because you, this goes back to almost the city manager's evaluation. This won't get done till September, based on our meetings. So I was thinking, what we could do, pass the ordinance to advertise, send it to committee, and if you want, bring it back before July 20th, is that?
Yeah, I certainly think
It's up to you. If you want to hold you more, it's your right, so. Just that we have retroactive pay to make.
Can we come back to it? Give me a couple minutes. Can we?
Okay, sure.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Then you always could hold it again if not happy with the report. Okay, 12A and B, motion.
Should I fill out like a million of these with fake names?
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Trying to come up with some good fake names right now. I think
Councilor
Herb
Can you do
Cream
that?
Cheese is going to be one of them. Herb Cream
Rose?
Cheese.
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Big Steve.
Yes. And Mayor Petty.
Yes. 13A, motions to advertise proposed ordinances. 13B to 13H, motions to accept and adopt on a roll call.
Okay. Can I just speak quickly on that? I don't know if Councilor Russell wants to, it's his committee. I just wanted to reiterate that we had I thought a good committee meeting regarding the water and sewer rates. And what came out of that committee were some comments from myself and some of my colleagues that although usually we'd like to see the water and sewer rates not go up and try to be creative and try to find ways where that shouldn't happen. A lot of constraints on our ability to do that. However, if there is free cash in the fall, we're certainly going to advocate. I certainly will advocate that some of that is be used to offset any water and sewer rate increases. So I just want to get that out there because usually we come forward and come up with a creative plan to try to reduce those numbers. We couldn't do it yet, but if free cash is plentiful, I'm certainly going to advocate. I think my colleagues on the committee will as well, that we use that to offset any increases.
We're losing Josh here for the rest of the night. His dog is grabbing his ankle and dragging him out of the room.
He's nearly dead with boredom.
Briscoe's bored. He wants to go play video games.
I don't have the
Josh, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Seriously, brother, thank you.
I don't remember.
Yeah, of course. It's always my pleasure.
Is there anything you want to like plug or anything? I don't know.
If anybody wants to link up and try to kill some world bosses in Diablo 4, just shout me out on the street and yell at me and my dog.
What are you playing that on?
Xbox, but it's cross-platform.
Hell yeah.
We'll chat.
Yeah, let's talk. Maybe we stream. Maybe we might have to stream that. Anyway,
I would love that.
We'll figure it out. Any Foxfire shows coming up? Anything people should keep an eye
No,
out
our
for?
stupid drummer's having another kid, so we're shut down for a few months again. But when we're back, I'll let everybody know.
Hell yeah! All right. Well, the official soundtrack of Joe Petty, Foxfires. Josh, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
It's a pleasure. Everybody have a great night.
Take care, brother.
Later, bud.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll take those. Actually, send those to us if you have if you want to be Briscoe's new mom, if you want to get into a serious relationship with Joshua Lyford, let us know. I mean, great guy. He's got a steady job. He's got a promotion at work.
13B and 13H.
He's done interesting things. He's been on world tours for bands. He's a incredible musician.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
He's hot as fuck. He's one of the hottest guys in Worcester. I mean, I think you should. Anyone should consider dating him.
Council Rose,
Yes.
Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey,
Am I?
Yes. Okay, we are going on to table under privilege. We tabled 14A. We're on 14B. Council Rivera requests city manager look at the best practices used in other municipalities to create an anti-litter campaign. Council Rivera.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to
interlitter
talk to the city
campaign.
manager today. So, you know, I
Bring
brought
litter
this
to
up
other
before, and
towns.
really looking at it, there are other
A litter
municipalities where
exchange.
this has worked. We're definitely not like.
Fun fact, Don't Mess with
Worcester
Texas started as an
situation,
anti-littering campaign.
There's definitely this contingency.
Wow.
They actually just printed the slogan on little trash bags that you could hang on your stick shift or your in your car.
What do we do regarding
Amazing.
having
Yep.
an activation?
And now those
regarding
motherfuckers love litter.
community?
Yeah, they litter
We
everywhere.
cannot
Yeah.
continue to
Just
expect,
garbage.
It's my
the city.
rights to litter.
Inspectional services, DPW often goes out and cleans, and then we see kind of the same things. And so we want to be able to look at what other people are doing, other municipalities, other communities. Other
I made a
countries,
car out of litter and I parked it on the sidewalk.
to really look at really doing this kind of like
Oh.
anti-litter campaign.
Yeah.
What are other communities doing? I know that, for example, Minnesota is one that has something very
Yeah.
solid. There's some areas of Philadelphia. I've talked about Kigali, Rwanda. They have days where they have days in the month where it's obligatory for everyone in their community to clean their frontage and their area. If not, they get fined, they get ticketed. So that we have to figure out what we can do, and it just becomes this kind of like shared
think I'm gonna do it.
responsibility that we have within
I'm gonna
our
build it in
community
front of Candy's
to keep
house.
our area and our space clean. Thank you.
Let's send that to the manager. Roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council GI, Council King,
Yes.
Council Member Carlson,
Yes.
Council Rivera,
Yes.
Council Rose,
Yes.
Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes. We missed items, I'm sorry, 13I to 13N. These are from Public Works. There's a motion to accept. Roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council GI,
Yes.
Council King,
Yes.
Imagine if, as a city, we like did a thing
Rivera?
instead of
Yes.
just
Council
talking
Rose?
about
Yes.
reports
Council
for
Russell?
things.
Right?
Council Toomey,
Yes.
We should have a thing. Like we should
Yes.
just
14.
doesn't matter what it is. Just
And request the Commissioner of Public Works.
We'll be known for it.
More
yeah, exactly.
Sweeping on Pleasant Street between
Yeah.
Park Ave and Main. Council Rivera.
Yeah, pretty much as it reads, I just wanted to add that this
can
is
we
upon the
do?
request of the neighborhood meeting, the Pleasant Street neighborhood meeting, the PAC meeting that we have, that they're really requesting this.
Okay. Roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council GI,
Yes.
Council King,
It's like
Yes.
just
Council Member
like a
Carlson,
day, like
Council
call it like
Rivera?
scream
Yes.
day.
Rose,
And you have to
Yes.
you just have to
Russell?
scream everything
Yes.
that you say
Toomey?
out in public all day.
Yes.
to Mayor Petty.
Everybody gets together, everybody just yells a lot.
Request Public Works and Parks provide council to report concerning the feasibility of providing city trash bags to businesses.
I'll imagine it every day, Annie.
Trash receptacles and
George
on
Street
the
slip and
kiosks.
slide day.
Such-
See?
Now we're
That'd
talking.
be so cool.
Yes, again, this came up in a neighborhood meeting where, you know, one of the things that we have on Pleasant Street is we have the new TDI, and in order for these to be successful.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, but it sounds something not boring.
So one of the things that we looked at is that, you know, it's very difficult. We understand that if we have trash receptacles. it
We
just
do
comes
something
with a
cool. I'll do
problem,
something.
but
I'll do
not
trash
having
cleanup day.
receptacles
We
also
do
Joust
something
the
cool.
manager day.
in regards to consistent litter in the streets.
On
Do one of
ostriches?
those-
So we've had
Yeah,
is that we've had
yeah,
people
perfect.
that have considered to say that they will be responsible for it, but at the same time, it would be a cost to them. It would be a cost to them in regards to
Diamond Street could be good.
taking the bags.
George
So
Street,
provide some
First
sort of
Street, honestly, would be
bags
really good.
for,
It's fucking crazy.
you know,
We used
the
to sled down
organization.
First
So
Street
let it be like there's a receptacle in
and
front of like
just
the
take our
network
lives into
center.
our
I know
hands
that
because you
the
just
Baptist
blow
church
out
is
onto Mill
interested
Street
in doing
every
something
time.
like this on Pleasant Street. So we can consider maybe doing some sort of a pilot where basically they're just saying, if you give us the
Yeah,
bags,
that's good. Yeah.
we'll be responsible to make sure that it's clean and empty it out and then call it in to get picked up.
Do you remember that
So again,
a couple
this
of
is
years
all
ago there was a
effort for them
promotion
to,
company that was
you know,
they were
be part
claiming
of
that they were going to bring a
the
giant slip and slide to
their
Pleasant Street?
community. Thank you.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that went nowhere. See, we can't do anything.
Fuckers.
This is very similar, and I'll sign on to this. I support it.
What about that like
ago,
that downhill ice skating thing that they do in Montreal? It's Red Bull, I
Oh
think.
hell yeah!
by Burncoat,
Fucking-
Forest Grove.
Crashed ice
You
or
folks
something.
had the idea.
I think that is it. Yeah.
Council
We should do
Rivera
something with Red Bull.
filed
Just
for that
something.
for us to look at providing these trash bags to different
Flugtag
community
into
spaces,
Lake Quincy.
in the interest
I always
of,
wanted to do Flugtag.
improving the cleanliness of the city. So it was
My toxic trait
non-specific
is that
to a
I think I
particular
could build the
district,
best
it was
Flugtag.
citywide. And that was probably a couple months ago. Would like just kind of an update from the administration on where that order is.
I'm a big fan
I
of
think
duck
this is something
races,
that
but I
we
feel
should
like
be
we can do
doing.
our own duck race
I
somewhere.
also think that
Well, they do. Yeah, there's like
I think that educating our
there's
young
a thing
folks
at Lake Quincy they do those
athletics
dragon
as
boat
well,
races,
Yep.
but
I'd like
like
to update
I
on
don't want to
that,
get in Lake Quincy
request
anymore.
that was citywide. Thank you.
That's never happening again.
So send that. Everybody else.
We could
send
do it
something,
live
send that
ducks,
to the,
or you could have a small boat pulled by live ducks.
Oh yeah, duck chariot,
Duck sled racing.
duck sled
Bergman?
racing is so good.
Councilor Calorio? Councilor Hardier?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
There should be competitive sledding in Worcester. We have enough hills,
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
right?
Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes.
At least
Plus,
7.
city manager create a plan where individuals and/or families
At least.
that receive SNAP benefits are able to receive discounts for city trash bags. Council Rivera.
You could do probably E and F together.
The other one. Okay.
And no concept of plowing, so it's not like there's
Yeah.
plenty of snow everywhere.
Plus, city
Yeah.
manager create a plan where individuals and/or families that receive SNAP benefits are able to receive discounts for mattresses and furniture disposal. Those
That's
two
what I'm
there.
saying. Every hill
Yeah,
has a
so
team.
the first one's
They
really,
have a
again,
tournament
all
to
coming out of, like,
to
different
build up their
issues with
team, and then we do the
strategizing
sled
and
Olympics for the whole
meetings, and I
city.
really want to give community.
It would be so
funds to
cool. We
really
used to,
be
when we were
engaged
kids, we
and
used
want
to go
around
to Hadwin Park
we've discussed
and
here on
build
this
like a
council. I'm sure that
8-foot
people
jump at the
have
bottom of
heard
it,
this
and
at
then just
neighborhood
like
meetings multiple
we
times
you
regarding the
sled all
importance of
day
these
until somebody
bags
like gets a
and
horrendous
that whole
injury,
issue, and
and then you get back in the minivan and go home.
some sort of
We could do King of the Hills.
aspect that if someone
Like
is
get all your neighbors
Ooh.
together and raid, the community that
Oh,
you
hell yeah.
and if they
like
qualify,
the least.
that they get some sort of a discount for the bags.
We should have like
even
a
if it's like one-time purchase.
we should have like a citywide game. You
Well,
know,
King of the Hill sounds a lot like how we start the purge, but
I mean,
this continues to just come up.
if they die, they die.
And I feel like this might be a helpful tool. As we see, we're looking at post-COVID, we're really seeing some major issues financially. We have a housing crisis, rent has gone up, the grocery bills, benefits have gone down. It's just become more and more challenging. Affordability of issues have become more and more challenging. So if there's anything we can do in regards to that, I think it's something to just consider. At the same time, if we want to be able to really look at, I think that part of the issue that sometimes we have illegal dumping, we have it because people don't have a way of doing transportation. They don't have a way of dropping items off, and then we see them on the streets. And so if we can kind of begin to have a campaign and promote that, if
They should talk to their neighbors parked on the sidewalk, see if they'll let them strap an old mattress to the roof of their car and get it off the sidewalk for a while.
Like some sort of like SSI or SSDI, that we can, on an income.
I literally just paid somebody $250 to remove some trash from an apartment I was leaving.
This is something that comes up again, over and over again.
Couldn't find anybody to take it.
In the community, and I think it's something. I think these two orders are something that are very doable, that we can kind of put our heads
so
together.
Ricky was just like hanging out in your apartment or something, or what?
He gets drunk. He came back from Italy really drunk and smelling of red
I would
wine.
love to see this kind of move forward before I leave council.
You won't stop talking about limoncello now.
Yeah, that was a $250 dick chuck.
Most of the councils here, I'm sure that they've heard this repeatedly in their neighborhood meetings and in any type of like PTO that I know several of us serve on site councils, meet with parents, meet with community. I'm sure that this is something that they've repeatedly have heard over and over again. I think also Felders in removing of furniture, people with different abilities, that is very challenging, to be able to coordinate, to be able to have things disposed. This would definitely really help folks. And I really feel like this would definitely help and curb some of the
We make our own Worcester Christmas where everybody just puts their shit out at the same time. And it's a free-for-all.
Dude, I put so much shit out on the sidewalk and it's gone within seconds. I'm amazed at what people what garbage people will just take from me.
I rise to support this
We
item.
even like we put a whole like living room of pretty nice stuff, but Warren stuff out
I also asked for
a
an
year
additional
ago,
item
and
for the administration
I just posted on Facebook.
provide us with a
People are like,
report.
"Here we go."
Show
It was
us
gone within a day.
once and for all how much we're taking in for money on trash bags minus the cost of the actual trash bags. Maybe it's time, Mr. Chairman, that we as a city look at how much money we're generating in that number, and if that number is such a large number that it can't be made up in a future budget.
This entire meeting has been one stump speech.
This is an issue
With like a
that
really
is
big
more-
stump that everyone was able to get on at the same time.
folks across the city, but more importantly,
If 2 was here, they would be
people need
kicking
a
the
place
stump.
to toss things away. Mr. Chairman, I also asked
It's
for
a
in that
stump
report
because it was the
to
city
tell
of
us just
tree
how
of our
much
city, and they cut that
we
shit
are
down.
getting for revenue from the center down on Millbury Street, where the where folks can.
I had
bring
a stump
large
ground
items,
today, tree cut down,
items,
stump ground.
where we're
Did you know that
charging
stump grinders are
$25
remote controlled?
a piece for them to bring it in.
It's a giant remote control car
asking for an
with
appointment.
like the craziest saw that would destroy anything it touched on the front of it.
Is the district
Hell
city
yeah.
council
It was
battle
the-
bot.
Exactly. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Items dumped on Granite Street. Wow. When right at the bottom of that hill.
Let's
there's
make a battle
facility
bot.
That you need an appointment to get into.
To just shred all the garbage.
Yeah.
I used to do First Robotics. That's basically the same thing.
There we go.
We'll ask the WPI kids to take care of the garbage for us.
They have a really good team. They're on
Yeah.
BattleBots.
These items. Do we need?
We wanted to try. My idea was to try and book them for the Sort of Late show, and just have them like attack us with a robot.
Facility open at all times for folks that are city residents to bring in any large bulk item, so that people don't have any excuses of cost or anything else, that they have a place to bring it at no
System
cost.
nomad. If I had a dump, certainly for trash. I just didn't have that
Too many
luxury.
times when folks make that call for
And I
that
needed to pay to
appointment,
make my
they're
problems
told
go
to
away.
Come next week or come sometime down the road. And folks just don't plan their lives like that. And Mr. Chairman, when we're talking about the bags and, when we
Some people
deduct the cost
don't
of
have
the
a car to
actual
put a mattress
printing
in
of the
to bring
bags,
it across the fucking city. Also,
if on the long run, we should be looking at things like the city of Boston does, where people just put things out on the street, in their bags, black bags that they get themselves.
Right, exactly.
And the city
Yeah.
comes down the street, picks it all up. Maybe it's something we could look at in a future budget. But we need to have those numbers and we need to have those statistics in front of us to see if it's worthwhile. Because we need to do something, and we've gone around.
I mean, that's
and
like
It'd be awesome if you did.
Yeah.
It'd be free.
I'll follow you with the GoPro.
Go to New York, spend a day on the subway in New York, and you'll see people do some wild shit like that.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you, Council King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly appreciate this item as well.
Yeah, Candy. Kate Toomey's husband will drive you to drop trash off at the.
I want to first talk about
the bulk
bags,
item
if I could
disposal.
agree. I know my colleague.
Do you think we
Councilor
could make
Russell,
trash look like a
numerous
car and get
occasions
Pats to tow it for us?
looking for the drop offs, and I agree with that.
And
That
then
was
sue
that
them for
over and
stealing
over
your trash
again
car.
for years.
Just
you
just
think
drop it in a
about,
parking lot that we know they're monitoring.
The larger items, I agree. I don't think we should be charging for those over there. The appointments need to be eliminated, Mr. Chairman, at the very least. I know I personally, and I know of constituents who've gone there. There's no one there.
It's so
and you
wild
still
when they
won't
do
let
when
you
that,
drop off because
when that happens.
But there's no one there. There's no one else coming in and dropping off stuff. But the mere fact you don't have an appointment, you can't kind of move in. I know one of the concerns was when we discussed this in the past was that the neighbors were concerned about traffic backing up on, I think that's Old Millbury Street there. And I think that's probably, I don't know, 20 years ago. It's a new day. I think we should certainly be looking at this and having some input from the neighbors.
If they move their
But the other
entry
thing I wanna talk
kiosk
about is
100 yards into the property, they
accessibility.
wouldn't have any backup onto Old
You know
Millbury.
that
It's true.
these drop-off sites, some close at 3 p.m., 7 p.m., 5 p.m., 5 p.m. I think, what's the day that's 7? Wednesdays, only at Millbury Streets, open till 7. I think the rest are 5, 4, 3 p.m. So if you don't get in there, I think one of the other challenges are for people who do have the transportation is, hey, I can do it Wednesday at 6. I'm working the rest of the week. Next thing you know, you missed it. Now you have something in your yard for 2 to 3 weeks. And folks sometimes give in to the temptation, quite frankly. I think we need to look again, and I asked for this previously, on a report back on what it would look like to extend those hours, Mr. Chairman. And I agree with doing away with the appointments. And as far as, the trash bags themselves, I agree. I'd like to see those numbers.
You should just bring back backyard burn pits.
This is really
right.
Beneficial. I know we have the overall numbers, but I think when you take
worked for Ray Lewis.
Order or amendment was, we'll have
the sports reference. I know that's not typically a hit for our crowd, but
most will be that we take consideration.
We start burning Woo, where we all get open fires for one day.
We'll take Council Rivera's item as amended with the separate orders.
Genius.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Caloria?
Yes.
Councilor G.A.?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes, request manager to create a plan to deal with potential displacements caused by inspections associated with the city's rental registry program with individual and/or families that are found to be living in illegal housing units due to financial limitations, which would add to the city's housing crisis. Councilor Rivera.
Yes, I'm very much in support of the rental registry. I think it's a great idea. I think it's good for safety reasons, for a number of reasons. But the reality is that there's going to come with unintended consequences.
The New Haven Ravens,
the
Saguso
second
Rally?
largest city in New
Sally?
England. And the reality is that we have families doubled up. We have probably a significant amount of illegal apartments. We have a number of people that are from immigrant community. Folks that are just doing the best.
Watching
they can,
the cop walk around in the hallway there in his big boots.
Really
so this didn't come through official channels, but I did make a request to see if I could do a ride along with the motorcycle unit.
Probably for
and was told that that's not possible.
We do have very large.
All I want to do is be able to park my motorcycle in the back of the common and just stand there in cool sunglasses for a couple hours. But yeah, just mean bugging kids on skateboards and whatnot. But
so the reality
apparently
is,
they don't allow ride-alongs
I've been having
with
some
motorcycle
folks in
unit.
the community is that that definitely in full support of the rental
Horseshit.
registry. Don't get me wrong, but
Total.
I really think it's time that we.
I'm
start
also going to guess,
thinking
though I
about
didn't
the
ask, you couldn't do one with the mounted unit either.
Come on.
That when,
this is ridiculous.
certain
What do we even have
apartments,
these
certain areas
for?
are gonna be
They're not doing anything with them.
inspected,
They were
and
they were
that-
down at Burncoat Street School the other day, just hanging out at recess.
there's going to be levels of displacements in regarding that versus having to be reactive when we are already dealing with a major housing crisis. I mean, we're dealing with such a housing crisis.
This team was
I've
awesome,
never seen
and their
anything like
logo
it.
was cool.
In my time in working, not only on this council, but in my career, working as a clinical social worker and as a pastor, I've never seen anything like it. So I think for safety purposes, was in full support and continue to be support in the rental registry. But this is a reality. It's an unintended consequence. And what could we as a city start thinking about? I would love to have the administration take this and begin to consider this and maybe begin to get some folks around the table to start thinking about what do we do in regarding this. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilor King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just really quickly, with this particular rental registry, who's doing the enforcing of anything related to that? What team is that?
Inspectional Services.
It's Inspectional Services or any other divisions through the chair? Is it just Inspectional Services?
Don't know.
Is housing involved or who?
Yep, as the assistant manager.
Yep, through the chair to the council, it would be inspectional services, specifically the housing and core division.
These divisions all
Thank
need
you.
their own logos.
You know, I had a lot of concerns about the rental registry. I've opposed it, I know, the first time around. Second time around, I think it was packaged. do something else.
Facebook wants to quit. I'm gonna refresh and
I
see
had
if we can.
concerns about these sorts of
Everyone be cool for a minute. Keep coming up with ideas for trash and fun days. Yeah, Sarai tends to speak a lot and not say much, you know.
And living in an illegal housing unit, like what happens?
Mr. Manager, Assistant City Manager.
I know that there's a follow-up process. For an example,
Yeah, I'm around it all the time.
Violation, overgrowth, things like that.
I'll talk to Josh. He starts. I think he starts a different schedule next week. Maybe we can just do
24 hours, 48 hours
midweek
to abate.
We'll let everybody know on social media.
Don't, then there'll be a follow-up inspection, and there will be.
See, thank you, Matt. Thank you.
Now we're thinking.
Thank you.
We could also use them in the summer as crash pads for the zip line.
Listen.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor King. Thank you, Councilor Corio.
Thank you. I was just here sitting and thinking about it because I too had my,
You were thinking.
Thoughts on this rental registry, and I wasn't really getting.
I too had my
I'd like a report
what are those
on
things?
how we are going to handle
They're
short-term
called
rentals, like Airbnb.
Thoughts.
I mean, if you have someone that has 2 or 3 extra bedrooms, and it's not safe, but they're not renting the apartment, but they're renting the bedrooms, how are we going to regulate that, or how are we going to look into that? So I think that's a big piece to the puzzle, because we're doing this because we want people to be safe and in a safe environment. But will this, with short-term rentals, are they going to stop us from, is this going to be a whole nother category, or is this something?
So we shouldn't do it because.
So we have people who want to sign on this. I think everyone, Councilor Hyde, myself, Councilor Russell.
Donna hasn't figured out the whole thinking part yet.
And also Councilor Corio's order. Take those collectively. Roll call. Councilor Russell.
Mr. Chairman, very briefly, not only do I want to sign on to the item, I'd also like the administration to come back with the ordinance that this council asked for unanimously about accessory dwelling units that'll be inspected properly, but allow people to utilize extra space for an accessory dwelling unit. So I'll say it again. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, roll call.
Councilor Bergman.
Psychos up there.
Yes.
Councilor Caloria.
Yes.
Councilor Gia.
Yes.
Councilor King.
Yes.
Councilor Carlson. Councilor Rivera. Councilor Rose.
Yes.
Councilor Russell.
Yes.
Councilor Toomey.
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. 11C, we're back to that. That's the recommendation of the salary ordinance. Councilor King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to withdraw any hold if that's standing. I think we can just vote it up or down. I just want to ask to state
they have to grease all the light poles down.
My concern is
down in Green Island, so nobody climbed up on top of them.
To a new step. Here it indicates that when you do that,
we should just do that anyways, though.
I think so.
Receiving the same,
it's too tempting.
The same rate of pay, that they'll then advance to the next step on their anniversary date, which I understand that.
We do. We need. We need the Summer Nationals back. We need our own version of the Summer Nationals.
Every right to expect that their salaries increase concurrently, and I also understand the attempts that we're making here, and certainly may support something like this. If
can you imagine how many people got mesothelioma from that, from celebrating 4th of July every year?
To attempt to retain and work on
the burn-ups.
With these sorts of, I think it was described as diagonal promotional opportunities.
Hi, Medina.
So I'm gonna let it go. I'm not gonna vote for it. I'm sure it'll pass, but there's no need to hold it up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So we'll do a roll call on that. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman.
Yes.
Councilor Caloria.
Yes.
Councilor Gia.
Yes.
Councilor King.
No.
Councilor Carlson. Yes. Councilor Nguyen. Councilor Rivera. Councilor Rose.
Yes.
Councilor Russell.
Yes.
Councilor Toomey.
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. That brings us to suspension. Under suspension, Councilor Haji, followed by Councilor Merrill Carlson, by Councilor Rivera.
Okay, Mr. Mayor. It's May 22nd, 2022 is where the 2 Gate Street apartment in Council Merrill Carlson's district, 4 residents lost their lives as a result of a fire. And here we are 12 months later. This developer is going back to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund this Wednesday looking for over $750,000 to rebuild their property. So that was reported in the Patch article today, hence under suspension. So I'm very concerned that
I think it was, Ruth.
We might be rewarding really irresponsible behavior, especially when it comes to harming our tenants. So I would like to ask for a report back to council as to how the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Commission screens and monitors for irresponsible developers, especially those that have a history of code health violations as well as tenant rights violations, as is the case in the case of this developer. We've also been talking a lot here today about the inspectional services. It would seem to me as a logical step that the Affordable Housing Trust Fund and that department check with the inspectional services department to ensure that any developers that are coming into and asking for these monies, that they have some sort of accountability. Again, I feel really, really uncomfortable rewarding irresponsible developers. And, you know, we've had these multiple discussions around the TIF economic development policy as well. I will be putting in a few orders next week as well related to this, but just wanted to bring it to us, to the attention of this council. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll take a roll call on that. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Haji?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Mr. Chairman, I think that for me to have to stand here tonight before this council to talk about this item is lunacy. That this city, 2 Gage Street, 4 individuals died 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, we as a city stopped them from doing what they were doing over there because they're not doing the right thing. And they're going for $750,000 and we don't know about it as a council. That is lunacy. That this
Is Candy angry or just talking?
well, not only on Gage Street.
No, baby, she's running. Ooh, that's a good screen grab.
Yeah.
Screen grab that, somebody.
What are we doing as a city?
This
Why
stream is
is
killing
it
me.
that I didn't know about
Yeah, it's
that?
almost over.
Do you know on Gage Street, every single week, every single day, those people are petrified of what's going on. That hill's ready to collapse. And we're going to give them $750,000? You tell me as a city how this is even possible. How is this possible? I want this administration.
Oh, she almost said the F word. Whoa.
Those folks should not be getting 1 cent from this city. Remember, 4 individuals died.
She's doing performative anger.
And we have violations all over this city from this individual, and he gets the right to go before that housing trust. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This does not go over. It doesn't sit well. It doesn't feel well. And for the people who live in this city and live on Gage Street, we should not be allowing that man to put another individual into any one of his units because he doesn't care whether they live or die.
Thank you. Okay. I guess we'll start over, on this. Council King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's very clear where we are as a council on this particular issue. I just had a quick question to the chair. I know that this Affordable Housing Trust Fund reports to the city manager. And I know there's
bingo.
I just want to know, is there any rule that prevents this body? I know we can't dictate. Is there anything that prevents this body, if I make a motion for a resolution, that this council is not in support of this particular individual? Is there anything that would not allow or disallow us from doing that through the chair?
Through the chair to the council, so you can make a recommendation to the city manager. At the end of the day, it's, that individual's application, you can recommend that to the city manager.
Okay, and is there any litigous concerns or legal concerns? It looks like there's a no. That would be my motion, Mr. Chairman, that we go on record. And
you asked that guy for a legal opinion? Come on, Christian. You know how this ends.
Is resonated and supported by this entire body, of course, with the leadership of the mayor, and that affordable housing, the city manager knows, and it's conveyed on our behalf to the Affordable Housing Trust folks that this is a no in the city of Worcester. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to take Councilor Haji.
Wow, and this would be a perfect opportunity to hold Eric and the administration accountable if they don't listen to you.
From the administration, from the law department, to ask what we could, because this won't be the first, this won't be the last time. Going forward, what we could have in a specific ordinance, similar to what we have in the REAP ordinance, where if someone doesn't pay their taxes,
I don't I'm glad they're like trying to take action here. This is good, but like this isn't the first time that an issue such as this has come up where they're like their question is whether or not the city council is allowed to like do something about somebody that we don't want in the city. And most of these people have taken the stance before that's like, hey, well, we're not, what are we just going to tell people, like, say who's allowed to be here or not?
Councilor Bergman?
Like,
Yes. Councilor Calorio?
Yes. This is very, like somebody said before, selective outrage.
Totally. That's all it is. It's you make the city attractive to scumbags and then act shocked when scumbags do scumbaggy shit.
Exactly. And listen, I'm glad, like, hey, it's working out in this specific instance on the right side of it, but keep that fucking energy.
Merrill Carlson, you all set? Do you have an item? No, you had your hand raised, so I was wondering. Okay, Councilor Rivera.
Yeah, two things really quick, Mr. Chairman, one is I'd like to be able to see an update on the TIF ordinance. And again, we're going to go into the summer session. We've been asking for this and want to be able to get this kind of up and going. I'd like to see this before I leave. And the other thing is that when we had our public health meeting over a month ago, I think now, we wanted something within 2 weeks, a meeting that was held within 2 weeks regarding having experts in the field with the administration and maybe the mayor's office regarding the moratorium on encampments. And I'm not saying that we voted for the moratorium on encampments. We just said that it wasn't just a simple black and white issue. It wasn't something that we can just say, oh, yes, we're for the moratorium or against the moratorium. We needed to come up with a plan. And I'm just, it's been over a month later, and we were asking for a meeting that would happen within 2 weeks, and that just hasn't happened as of yet. And so I would like to be able to make sure that by the end of this week that there's something scheduled already. I will be having another public health meeting, and it'll be kind of shameful that 2 months later, something we asked for 2 weeks, and I know it's a local election season, but this is people we're talking about. And I think that we need to figure this out, because the reality is that we're just shifting people around here and there. We need to figure out, I'm not saying that I have the answer. I'm not saying that no one on that committee or even people were saying, yes, let's do this moratorium. We knew that it was not just it's a complex issue. And so in order for us to really address this properly, what we had decided in that public health, and again, go back to the public health and meeting and the motions that were passed, was that we're asking the administration to pull a meeting together. I no longer want to wait on this. So I'm hoping that that this week there will be, a list of folks that have been called, and that there's a meeting that is on the books at least within a week or so from now, before we get into the craziness of the July and the holidays and summer vacation. We need to deal with this issue regarding the encampments. I think if we go across council here, you're going to see that there's, especially when we look at district councilors, that these are issues that we're confronting.
Municipal hermit field.
I think that we need to, one of the things that we talked about is actually really looking at parameters. Where can we kind of like have a moratorium versus where we cannot? But one of the things that we've seen in the past is that, if folks are unhoused,
Hey, I want to talk about something important.
they're going to end up
HBO
in
canceled Perry
yards and
Mason.
sheds. This is something that has happened, and we're
Not doing
shifting
okay,
things around.
everybody.
We need to figure out what we do.
This
It's
last season
happening
was
right
great.
now.
It was so good.
In that committee,
So
we
fucking
didn't
good.
vote on saying yes. We wanted
God,
more
I love that
This is
show
a
so
complex
much.
issue. So can we please get this meeting going? Thank you.
Thank you. So all those in favor, I'm sorry, roll call?
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor
I hope
Kaloya?
at the very least they do the
Councilor
Deadwood
Pierre?
thing where they like let them do a movie in like 5
Yes.
years.
Councilor Carlson?
But
Councilor Rivera? Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell? Yes. Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes, motion is to adjourn, roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Kaloya?
all right,
Yes.
Councilor Hajiye?
Yes.
We did it.
Councilor King?
we did it, everybody.
Yes. Councilor Carlson? Councilor Rivera?
The quick one.
Councilor Rose?
Yeah,
Yes.
only
Councilor
2
Russell?
hours and 20 minutes this
Toomey?
time.
Yes.
What did we learn today, Brian?
We learned I was right about I'm adept at identifying which item they'll be stupid about. So that was good. We learned that Candy today was the day that Candy became a candidate. She finally became president today. She is firing on all cylinders. She is terrified of losing her spot in the primary to Palmieri and losing the election to Rob Bellotta, I have to say. So I think it's very important to everybody that lives in District 2 to make sure that you're donating to Rob and that you're letting everyone that likes Candy know that Phil Palmieri is way better than her. If they're going to vote for Candy, tell them to vote for Phil, because she's caught up with union mobsters and is corrupt. So I think that's the biggest thing. What did you learn today, Brendan?
That I can't go for a ride along with the motorcycle unit.
These fucking ACAB.
No, I mean I think it is funny to watch how quickly the tone changes in the council when they're ready to go into their summer cycle now, which means only a handful of meetings between now and fall.
Yep.
And for them, this is the last opportunity to get in their talking points where they can start saying to constituents, these are the things that I'm working on.
Yeah.
When really all they did was ask for the same report they've been asking for the last 20 years, not with no intent of actually doing anything or changing anything. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it's the kickoff of Goofy season. So it's gonna be interesting, the meetings that are coming up this summer, what actually happens. We know it won't be much of substance. It'll be a lot of this where they're, talking about what they talk about, and 2 is kicking ass as usual. Yeah, they have no desire anyways, at the very least. So yeah, it was at least it was a quicker one. It was interesting in the way of what they actually did talk about. So we'll see how things develop. We'll try and have some fun with it. I think we're gonna keep going, trying to get on some more different guests in the coming weeks and things like that to talk about the upcoming election and just talk about all the craziness that's going on here. So yeah, I think we learned that there are an increasing amount of hotties working for the city. I think that's the most important thing to know. And yeah, you got make sure that we're subscribed to billshaner.substack.com. Shaun is now officially under the thumb of Bill Shaner. Big Shaner. He's working for Bill the Carpathian. And you can check out his Bad Advice column will now be featured as part of the Substack. Worcester Sucks Power Hour. We got a new episode coming up. I think maybe this week we're going to do one on the 3rd anniversary of Worcester Sucks, and I love it. So you better be subscribed to that to get all that and support them financially so that we have somebody doing real journalism here in the city. We also Let's see. This is soft breaking news, but Will and I have been deciding on a format change for Parts Unknown. I think we're going to take a little bit more time off and reconfigure the show. So we'll have more to update there, but lots of great wrestling going on. So if anybody wants to talk wrestling, DM me. We have shirts in the WCT 3K store. Make sure you get your Commenters Union shirt. Make sure you get your Hazard Club shirt if you are okay with landlords, and get your Nico Vangelli shirt. WCT3K.storeenvy.com for all of your Worcestery Council Theater 3000 needs. Follow us on Instagram at WCT3000. Buy Kate's products. Come to a show. We got Kate Willette coming up on June 30th at Ralph's. It's going to be a great show. She's an incredible comedian. Follow Wooten Any Comedy for some more info on that, but see some videos we'll have linked of her. But we have a great show. Caroline Moore is featuring for one of my favorite new comedians in Boston. Worcester Hot Dog Safari event coming up on July 8th at the MCL, the Marine Corps League, down on Lake Ave. We're having a tiki party, everybody, to raise money for the safari and to decide what the official drink of the safari this year is going to be. So a lot of fun to be had at that. There's a chance that Mamaru is going to be serving food there that day. We're talking to him about it now. He really wants to do it, so we're going to figure that out. We love you. We love Bill. We love to give him money, so make sure that you give him all the money. And do we have I don't even know. Is there a meeting on the schedule next week? I think there is.
Next week, yes. And then they go into summer
session. So make sure you're following us. You'll find all about all that, and look out for a power hour coming up soon. Thank you so much for everybody for hanging out. We love you guys so much. Buy a shirt, donate money to any of your favorite candidates, and we will see you next Tuesday. Goodbye. We love you. Bye.
Take care.